We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Oh, yes, bitches. Welcome to the Nothing Sacred Smoke Break. I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
I'm smoking lace.
Whoa, where's cruise control?
Where is he anyway?
You know what? He had a Halloween party to go to, so I think we should talk shit about him. That's what I think.
Great idea.
You're
Yeah,
like-
it's kind of a bummer that he won't be around this time, but I'm kind of excited to talk to you about let's just keep this like a 100% smoking fetish episode. What do you think?
Okay, cool. That works for me. It works for me. You know. So, what the hell was I gonna say? You know, Halloween's coming up. I bet you Halloween was probably your favorite holiday as a kid. It probably still is, huh?
Do I come off as just that kind of goth girl?
No, it's not even that. It's just because you're always dressing up in all your videos. You know, you always have a different outfit or costume on or something. So I figured that's got to be your shit.
Yeah, I love Halloween. I was I think I was a princess almost every year, anything to get me in a frilly dress and jewelry and stuff like that. And then as I got older, I was monsters all the time. I love horror movies.
Nice. So you did you got the Hellraiser tattoo on your chest.
Yes, and I've got a Silence of the Lambs inspired tattoo, and I'm gonna get one from The Shining too. So I'm kind of a
Nice.
nerd.
Take your medicine. That's,
How about you? What are you doing for Halloween?
I'm not doing anything really. You know, I don't get usually I don't get trick-or-treaters because I have my lights off all the time for obvious reasons.
Oh,
But,
right.
you know, one year though, I'm home and I'm cooking dinner, and all of a sudden I hear some kids coming up my stairs. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
shit! So I had the screen closed, but I had the door open. So I go to the screen. I'm like, hey guys, I don't have any. It was some teenagers too, and I'm like, guys, I don't have any candy. I'm sorry. And you know, they were like, oh okay. And then one of them made some kind of smart ass comment, but I was like, I don't. That's not gonna rattle me. But
Mhm.
yeah, normally I don't know. I haven't really done much for Halloween the last couple of years. I'm just kind of I try not to be home if I can, just so I don't have to deal with trick-or-treaters. But you know, who knows? Who knows what'll
Right.
happen?
Yeah, I used to drink really, really hard on Halloween. Now I'm kind of what do I do? There's all kinds of fun stuff that happens. I don't know, you can go to the pumpkin patch, and I used to live somewhere where they had drive-in, not drive-in movie theaters, but where you bring a blanket and they use a projector and shit.
Oh,
And it's just all month it's horror movies. That was pretty fun.
oh, that's cool. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'll go to the bar that night or some shit. Talk
Oh
about
yeah,
drinking during Halloween. I'm not sure. Not sure what I'm gonna do. But it's a
that'll probably be
weeknight,
fun.
so I'm not sure.
That's true. What is it, like a Thursday or something?
Yep. It's on a Thursday.
Yeah,
So,
it'd
and
be
you
like
know,
that sometimes.
yeah. Well, actually, when I told you, I always thought that we all got Halloween off. I thought it was a national holiday for the
Yes.
longest time, you know, because the 31st is like our state, the day we became a state, you know. And so we used to get it off, and it used to be on the 31st all the time. So, which kind of sucked because we'd have especially if it was on a weekday. So we'd have, we'd be off that one day, and then it's back to school the next day. And of course, we're all wired, from candy, and none of us slept or any of that shit because we were so fired up, So,
Right.
but yeah, so it's weird. Now they moved it to the last Friday of the month. That's what they're doing.
Oh, okay. That's kind of too bad because I'm sure it's really, really fun getting Halloween off as a kid, every year consistently.
Oh yeah. And that's what I actually when I was in high school, I was telling a buddy of mine, I was like, yeah, dude, so it's cool. We're getting Halloween off, huh? And he's like, you get Halloween off? And I'm like, well, yeah. And he's like, we don't. And I'm going, huh? So that might have been the reason that fucking only fags. Okay, now that's why they fucking blocked my shit. When I was trying to send you that message, You know, I may have said high school or some bullshit like that. They've been really anal with the blocking or the you know, like flagging and stuff, you know? Like you even
Yes, they
got
have.
flagged.
I don't even know what I said.
Right.
I
That's
combed over my message that got restricted, and I'm like, there's nothing in here. What was I talking about?
it was about a
Something like,
dessert.
yeah, talking about my friend making pastel de nata, a Portuguese dessert.
I,
I'm like, maybe there was something in Portuguese that was offensive. I don't know.
I either that or it couldn't translate properly and thought you were saying some other shit. I don't know. It's really
Yeah.
weird. But yeah, no, they've been really anal. And here's the thing, you know, it's a site for porno.
Mhm.
So why are you censoring people when we're posting shit or sending messages? It's like, you know,
Yeah. I guess they want to make sure their platform's not being used for like illegal stuff.
well, Jesus. I mean, Facebook, I get people all the time. Like some guy added me on Facebook and all of a sudden he sends me a message, hey, bro. So I'm like, who's this fucking guy? I don't even know him. So I go to his page and he's talking about I got vapes and shrooms and all kinds of shit for sale
Oh,
and edibles. And I'm just like, okay, so this is okay and Facebook marketplace. But you know, here it is, OnlyFans, and it's like, now we're flagging everything that you say.
yes. Yeah, they're definitely way too hardcore with it. Like, because, when you're a creator, you're not only talking about sex and like making content. A lot of the time, like you and me, we'll have like whole ass conversations on there about our like
Oh,
real lives, talking
yeah,
about, oh, this happened when I was a kid, but like you can't say kid,
yeah,
young, you
exactly.
can't even say young.
Right, right. Just all these little words that they're flagging. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what's the point of this shit? Why are we doing this? So yeah, and remember for a while, well, last week you and I had our little fuck OnlyFans thing. like we're gonna email from now on. Fuck OnlyFans. We will not communicate on OnlyFans anymore. So
Yes. Well, and did
because
I tell you that I got flagged like 17 different times because
oh yeah,
I hope OnlyFans never listens to this, but I was saying basically like, okay, so when I make my customs, I tell people, hey, I prefer Cash App, but you can send me tips on here on OnlyFans, and that's totally fine. But then, you know, I'll send you like a really good video and I'll send it straight to your Google Drive. That
right,
way it's not always on OnlyFans, because then you have to, I don't know, I just think it's nice to give people their clip just straight to them so they'll like always have it. And
right.
they flagged me, so they like looked in all of my past stuff and found like 17 different instances where I had talked to people about Cash App and Google Drive, and both of those things got flagged. So
Wow.
now, yeah, so now it gets automatically flagged where like I can't talk about other platforms at all on OnlyFans.
But it's weird that they went back. Like you said, months back, right? All of a sudden they pulled shit from like 6 months ago that you said about Google
Yes.
Drive.
Yeah, it'll be six
Wow.
months Monday that I started my OnlyFans, and they went to the Wayback Machine. They pulled every single one out, and
Damn.
they deleted them. Yeah, just straight up deleted them.
Wow. That's
So,
crazy.
but
That's
if there's anyone out there who wants a custom, now you know the deal. I can't talk about it on OnlyFans, but you heard it here.
yeah. Or you could say GD or something like that. You know, we found little creative ways around communicating that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you
Yeah,
said
we've
check your
got
email or whatever you said.
yes, we've got some good code going on right now.
Oh yeah. We got the best. We're just like, check your email, do this, or what did I say the other day? I think I said the I used letters or so I don't remember what it was, but I had made mention of something and sent that to you. So
Yes, it's funny how they don't block the words Nazi and like oven and like a
oh, that's
bunch of
right.
other
That's right.
words.
Yeah. Because I said gas chamber or something. And I'm like, okay, that got through. There was something else that got through that I was like, damn, they let me say that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what it was, but it's just interesting, you know. But it's these corporate fucks that probably have like shit fetishes, you know. Seriously, you
They're
know,
hiding something. Yeah.
like, oh, Jimmy, oh, turn my tonsils into a toilet. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
He's got digested green beans dripping from his eyelashes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Like, fuck. So, but that's it. You know, a lot of these, you know, that's what I say. A lot of these corporate fucks, they have these hidden, you know, they try to play like I'm the God fearing Christian, you know, all American corporate guy, and then meanwhile behind closed doors, you know, he's getting his asshole torn open like a 12-pack at a frat party, you know. So
Right. Definitely like the people who are the most outspoken about abortions would still take their daughter to get an abortion if they got like
oh
knocked up, you know.
hell yeah, oh
They're
totally
still going to be able to get abortions even if it's illegal for everyone else.
right. They'll find a way.
Yep.
They'll do it themselves if they have to.
Oh my God.
They're like, all right, we're just gonna here. Let me get a hanger. Oh, better yet, we got a jacuzzi out back. Why don't you just get the jacuzzi? We'll make some
Oh
soup.
Oh, wow, Max, your brain is like wild.
Oh, you should have heard me today. You know what I'm doing? I'm preparing for that custom that we're doing, where I'm going to leave you the voicemail.
Yeah.
Which that was another thing. The UPS guy showed up today just as I was sort of kind of practicing and running through some shit that I might say, and I'm loud anyway. My door was closed, but you know I could hear him come up my stairs. I'm like, oh shit. So he's probably listening to me, you know, just going off and doing my whole little spiel. It's gonna be funny. I hope I can do it in one take. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear what this is going to be. So,
Oh yeah.
like, what were you saying was the premise of this one? Do we have one picked out
Oh
yet?
yeah, we got a premise. It's okay. So the guy from the what is it? The Countess of
Bathory.
Bathory, yeah. So by the way, just I want to mention this real quick too. I got my Jackums folder open on my computer here.
Yeah.
So I've had it open all day. I guess between listening to a few things and well, and it's kind of the way that you can listen to music with me and watch videos with me. It's like you're here but you're not here. You know what I'm saying? So
That's nice. Yeah, that sounds like a nice Saturday.
yeah, exactly. So where the fuck was I going with this? Oh, so the guy from can we say his name?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, we
Just
won't
in
say his
case he
name.
listens. Yeah.
Okay, all right. We won't say his name, but the guy from that custom, you know who we're talking about. Um he's basically he's out for vengeance now because he's pissed off because you know he spent all you know you put the devil's condom on him and you know he wound up spending some time in the hospital and now he's going through some mental therapy and a bunch of other shit. Well, he hooks up with somebody else from a previous, and I'll say this bitch's name. Fuck her, Nicole the whole sweet
It's okay.
profanity. You fucking cunt rag.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's you know where I met her was actually on Experience Project. You ever heard of that site?
No, not until you said it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See how I found it too was one night I was just Googling for jack off material and I put something about women being barefooted smoking or something. And I ran across this story because that's what it is. It's people write stories on there. And you know, it's kind of I guess it's sort of their way to be able to you know say things online anonymously as opposed to saying them to their friends or to their family. They can be themselves as it were.
Okay.
So her story was called The Barefoot Mafia, and it was about her and her two friends from her apartment complex. You know, they're always barefooted all the time and they always hang out, you know, and smoke on the property, and they kind of got known by the neighbors as the Barefoot Mafia. So I was like,
Okay.
I gotta meet this chick.
Right.
So that's when I you know created a profile and friended her and then wrote her a message, and we would like how you and I talk. Her and I would talk a lot too on there. And then she just fucking ghosted. I gave her my number. I said we should talk off here one time, and man, crickets. She just freaked the fuck out. So
You think he weirded her out? Did you get any sort of hint that she was like thought your fetishes were a little strange?
no way. She was into it. She was loving it. You know, and she was like, "Oh yeah, and I'm barefooted right now, smoking a cigarette, and blah blah blah." So no, she was down with that. I think the thing was
Hmm.
the phone number thing. She was hiding something. I don't know what it was. She might have been male.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's interesting. I love in my in that Nicole the Hole, which is very misogynistic, by the way. Jesus. Um,
It's
I
your
was just
you made it.
I know, and now I'm broadcasting it. But
Yeah.
so I said something like, you know, this is for Max. Like I'm very protective of my friends, and you fucked with the wrong person or
I
something.
loved it. I was like, yeah, fuck this bitch. You know, I had a hard on
But
just because of that.
yes, no, that was
Anyway,
a
go.
great one. But speaking of guys pretending to be women, like who knows if that was in Nicole's case, but there is so much of that, like especially on Instagram right now, where there's guys pretending to be smoking fetish models. And
Oh,
I'm just trying to figure out what they're getting out of it because they'll hit me up and say, "Hey, do you want to do like an S2S or something? I don't know, some kind of weird young person lingo." It's
weird.
basically like a story for story where like I share them on my Instagram story and they share me. Um, and I did it once and they never shared me. They never fulfilled their end of the bargain.
Oh,
Um, and so I was like, ah, crap, you know, and I figured it out about half an hour later and I blocked them. So I wasn't just giving free promotion to like some, you know, um, catfish or whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's also happened where, um, I don't know, they want me to share them in a story, but it's so fake. It's so obviously like they stole the photos from somebody else or they've created like this AI personality that you can
Huh.
like there's videos of like a girl smoking, but it's weird like the way that her face moves is kind of unnatural.
Oh,
And I'm like, either this bitch has gotten like 8 years of Botox or it's not real. It's like AI fabricated. I'm just wondering like what are they getting out of this, you know?
that's weird. Okay, so how did you figure out they were male, or did you're just speculating, kind of, sort of?
I would assume because I just couldn't imagine like I mean, I guess it could be a woman, right? But
I
they're
mean, maybe.
definitely pretending to be a model.
Well, it could be some like fat trailer trash chick, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's her fantasy. Like, damn, I wish I could be
Yeah,
one of those smoking fetish chicks, you know?
that could be. I don't know if like unless you have the smoking fetish yourself, if anybody really idolizes us, you know?
I mean, yeah, well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's kind of a hidden thing too. I think there are some guys that sort of do have that smoking fetish, but they won't admit it, because it's
Yeah.
dirty, taboo kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, wow, that's a really good point because I have talked to a couple people where they live in a country where it's maybe like very religious, and you can
Ah,
tell that, you know, judging from their Instagram, they come from like a super religious background. You know, like I've talked to a couple guys in like Saudi Arabia, for example,
oh,
and they're like, yeah, you're the only person that knows, you know, that I have a smoking fetish because
oh, yeah.
they'll never
Mm.
be able to tell their fan. There's so much shame around that too. That's
Damn,
kind of a whole different topic, but
that's actually, you know what? That is an interesting topic because I have a friend. Shit, I don't know if I should say too much, but he's Mormon. Um, and we've always kind of thought he might be gay.
mhm.
And he's married now and everything, but just certain things he will say and do. And even now, like I remember one time he got so pissed off at Facebook because he wasn't seeing my posts. And he was like, man, Facebook is, I wasn't able to see your post for like a month. And I don't, and I'm like, damn, dude, calm down, bro. It's not the end of the world, you know? And there's just been other things. I remember when he was still single, I was over at his apartment. And we were hanging out one night and I said, all right, dude, well, I know you've never had sex. This is, before you got married. And I was like, but there must be something about women that just drives you nuts, that just turns your fucking engine over. And he's just like, well, I'm kind of more interested in what gets guys off. And I was like,
Oh, okay.
that's very weird. But yeah, it sucks when you have, these religious, like walls, as it were, that keep you from being who you really are sexually. I mean, that's got to be frustrating.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's awful. That's why I'm pretty, I wouldn't say I'm anti-religion. I'm definitely a spiritual person and I've got my set of beliefs, but
Yeah,
organized, really hardcore, strict religion is like hurts more people than it helps, I think.
I agree. I agree. And like you, I'm spiritual. I do believe in a higher power, but I don't believe in organized because now these religions are telling you how to love that higher power. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
fuck you. You're not going to tell me how to do. And not only that, but a lot of religions, especially as a blind person, look at blind people like we're lower than or less than, or you need to pray for us or some kind of shit.
Mm. Yeah, I
So,
never thought of it like that.
oh, I've had a lot of people, that want to Jesusify me and repair me, as it were. So, matter of fact, the funniest one, I was at an assisted living, for work, and I went by myself. I think I went to go meet with the activities director or something I was doing there. So I was outside waiting for the bus, and this guy comes up and he's like, "Sir, the Lord can heal you, and da 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 da, and Jesus can put His hands on you, and the whole bit." And I told him, I said, "Look, man," I said, "God made me blind for a reason. I'm this way because if I wasn't, I wouldn't know the people I know. I wouldn't have the job I have. I'd be a totally different person, and I wouldn't want to trade in any of this." So it kind of took the wind out of his sails, and he was just like, "So you wouldn't want to see?" I'm like, "No, sir." And he's like, "Okay."
Oh wow, that's so great that you actually won an argument with a religious zealot because I didn't realize that had like ever happened in the history of mankind.
Oh, it can. Well, it's because here it was. He wanted to fix me, and Jesus will heal you, and what I don't know what kind of reaction he thought he was going to get from that. Like, well, could you please pray for me or some dumb shit,
Yeah.
but I have no interest in seeing. I've never been able to see, so and I that's my philosophy, really. That man, I'm glad I am who I am because I wouldn't be hell. You and I probably wouldn't be talking if I wasn't blind. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah. And it really comes down, this is getting a little too in the weeds with spirituality, but it's kind of like God's plan, right? That there is
Yeah.
one for all of us. And you wouldn't take it back for the world, right? Because
No, hell no.
it's how
Nope.
it's supposed to be.
Yep. Yep. That's how it is. So we digressed. We were talking about the custom. So the one that you're gonna do, it's gonna be that guy, and he hooks up with Nicole the Hole, who you made your ashtray slave in a previous custom. So we're basically combining two older customs and connecting them. And yeah, now he's out for revenge. He calls you, leaves you a nasty voicemail, and then you're like, "All right, bitch, let's go." So you show up to his house, and he's a basement dweller. He lives in his parents' basement. So
Hmm.
that's the vibe I get, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's gonna be a ton of fun to make. Maybe like they capture me or something and it turns into like where I'm a Batman villain all like tied up above like a
Oh,
spiked pit or something.
see, this is why. Yeah, see, I had one thing in mind, and you just came up with something totally new that I was like, "Oh, okay, shit, I didn't even think about that."
With our powers combined,
Oh man, we make some.
we always come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, we feed each other. I'm telling you, the customs you make for me have to be the dopest customs. Like some of the other ones, that you've talked about, a lot of them sound kind of boring, that other guys might want. You know what I mean? Like they don't want you to talk, they just want you to smoke. It's like, well, all right. Wow. Let's
Yeah, yeah, by comparison, it could definitely be seen that way. Like I think I get to have so much more fun with ours because it's all audio. And
yeah.
so I don't have to like it would be twice the work to like get into a costume and things like that. Um and you also like just let me run with like whatever.
Oh yeah.
You'll give me like a theme and then I just like run with it. And I feel like sometimes people want to have a little too much control over how the custom turns out, which
Oh.
like if they have like a very 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 specific interest or fetish, like hell yeah, I want to try and make that come alive. But sometimes what happens is they'll ask me to do something and then I come up with a custom that is like super creative and I think it's great. And they kind of just like they're like, oh yeah, thanks. And I never hear
Hmm.
from them again. It's like I would
Oh,
love to get feedback, like what could I do better next time? I tell people too, I'm like, if you want me to like remake any of this, because I did one where I put a bunch of sound effects into it. It was I was like a villain, like a super villain,
oh,
and I put a bunch of sound effects in the custom and kind of like did some like slowdowns and like some interesting video editing. And I said right after I sent it along, I was like, look, I know I got a little carried away with this in post, but if you want me to change anything, I can go back and switch it to like normal stuff in like a GIF, and I have no problem doing that. But no, but I don't get a whole lot of feedback all the time, so it's hard to know if people actually like what I'm doing, which is
right.
so different with you and me because like we actually talk almost every day.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
always know what you feel, and you're super honest about telling me, what you like and don't like.
I don't think there ever was something I didn't like. I don't think there was anything you've ever done for me that I was like, oh, that could have been a little better. You know what I mean? Like everything I've thoroughly enjoyed.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, and it's like I think I just get kind of a feeling too where it's like, oh, they didn't say much about this one, but they said a lot about this one. And so it kind of gives me, even silence is something to work with.
but true, true. Silence can speak volumes in some
Yeah.
cases. So that's well, and then the organic ones, like the water challenge that you just did.
The water challenge. Oh my God, yes. Okay.
Oh, how did you forget that?
I'm still dehydrated, Max.
Oh, Jackums.
Yeah. So you decided that I should do like a dark side thirst video, which
Yes.
is, one of your other big fetishes. And so I didn't drink water. Normally I drink like half a gallon of water every single day, and I didn't drink water for like a day and a half. And so I think it was like I drank like a little bit of water on the second evening, and then the third morning I woke up and like just basically like recorded how dry my mouth was, and then I was like smoking cigarettes the whole time and like drinking coffee and like other things that make your mouth feel kind of
Right.
you
So
know
you were drinking liquids at least. That's
yeah, there's water in coffee, right?
well,
So
yeah, or soda or whatever the hell you were drinking.
yeah, so I mean I think that one, it's like the really real ones that are like there's no acting, there's no storytelling,
I
it's
love
just
that.
straight up like this happened to me today, or
Right. Or the running out of
yeah.
cigarettes one was hot too.
Yeah.
A night of extreme desperation is what you called it. And
Yeah, and that was real.
that was so well. Oh, the two things, the one with the water one that you said in there that was hot, I forgot to mention was when you kept saying you said something about, yeah, I keep pouring my dog water, and I'm looking at it going, oh, I wish I could have some, and I'm just like what's stopping you, you know?
Yeah, sometimes I'll actually kind of deprive myself in
That's
making these videos, like just so that it's realistic. Because, like, you would never know if I did it or didn't do it. But
true.
I think, like, in order for it to sound and feel real, like, I really want to put myself in that situation. I'm
I think
like a method actor sacrificing for quality.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's God. There was, you talk about acting, and I'm trying to remember, there was a situation. I think it was Jamie Foxx when he played Ray. I want to say that he actually went around blindfolded for a couple days or something like that. There was somebody was telling me that. So
Oh, interesting.
so yeah, I don't remember where I heard that, but anyway, it's kind of the same thing, and that's kind of what got me into your stuff in the first place. The first video I saw was the one where you're like, I haven't had a cigarette all goddamn day, and now I'm about to have one, and I'm just like, oh, that's so fucking hot.
Yeah, the desperation video from 2012.
Yeah. Oh God, that was hot.
I get a lot of people who say that. They're like, I've gone back to that video so many times over the last 12 years. I'm just like, wow, this whole time I had no idea that my videos were like that great to people. Because when I started making them, I thought, well, I'm like totally clothed. Like, there's no way that anyone's getting sexual gratification from this. And then I found out you don't need to be naked. Like you don't. It's just the idea that really gets people off. And then I was like, oh, this is cool.
That's like that Jermaine Stewart song. We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time.
I love that.
So, but that's the point. It's these innocent little things can still be huge turn-ons. Like I said, the running out of cigarettes. I can't tell you how many times I've jacked off over that video.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Which,
and that was like I was going through this really remote part of Canada. Sorry, all the coughing.
uh,
And I ran out of smokes, and then there's like this 500-mile stretch where there's no, okay, 500 miles is an exaggeration, more like 300, but there's like
seemed like
no
500.
gas stations, no gas, no convenience stores. There's like a couple campgrounds, but it was late at night, and if I stopped, I mean, no one would be awake. So I was like basically recording, here and there, like every half an hour, like, oh my God, I need a cigarette so bad. And that was real, and that one was not fun to make.
I bet it was. I could tell when you finally got to smoke your first cigarette. You said you went, what was it, 12 hours or more without a cigarette?
Yeah,
Oh man,
I don't remember exactly how long, but it was way too long. It
that
was
that
like a night, and then I went to sleep without one, and then woke up, and it was like a couple hours after I woke up, I finally was able to smoke.
you know what? And I'm surprised you were able to sleep because most of the time they
Um,
say when people are going through nicotine withdrawal, it's hard to sleep.
yeah, it wasn't easy. I was definitely tossing and turning, and just
Oh,
like pretty much like right away at 6 in the morning, I was like, okay, I can drive somewhere, and in 2 hours, like something will for sure be open at 8 in the morning. And so I was kind of like waking up, looking at my clock. Damn it, it's so
oh.
early.
So you had a few wake ups there where it was like, oh, it's only 4:30. Shit.
For sure. Yeah, I was jonesing hard. But yeah, um, I love making stuff like that though. When it's all over and I'm no longer thirsty or no longer like starved for nicotine, I'm like, cool. Like I think I made a pretty good video.
Right. Well, oh, at least for me, you did.
Yeah.
So, but that's the other thing I would have done for you, not just bring your water, but you kept saying how you didn't have gum when you didn't have cigarettes. So I would have let you suck on my fingers just so that way you could kind of quell that oral need a little bit.
That's cool. I think that would help, and I'll have to include that in one of the next customs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely do.
I might bite you.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. You can draw a little blood if you want to.
Which, by the way, reminds me, did you know that like finger biting is a fetish?
I could see where you mean for the person biting the fingers or the person getting their fingers bitten.
I don't know. The person that I talked to the other day said that he just loves watching someone bite another person's finger, like maybe they're dating or flirting or something. And he asked me to make a custom where it had nothing to do with smoking, I don't think. But he was like, yeah, it's actually like really big and not a lot of people make content for it. So it's like a market that like is relatively untouched, not like untouched, but there's just not enough creators doing it. And
Hmm.
yeah, and he's just like, oh man, like that's what does it for me is like
Finger
someone biting
biting
someone else's
fetish.
finger. I
I
was like,
mean, yeah,
cool. I was like, you don't want us to be naked or anything? And he's like, nope, you can keep your clothes on.
just bite fingers. That's it, huh?
Yeah,
That's interesting. Well, it could be that oral thing again. Um, which is my whole thirst thing, which is a total. I don't know where the fuck that came from because I've Googled, tried to look it up, and I couldn't find a thing on it. I found things on smoking fetishes. Even the hawking loogie fetish is kind of a thing. So,
yeah.
but
It's I've got a really weird fetish. I have absolutely no idea where it came from. And
which,
from what I've heard, for like a woman to have this particular fetish is actually very, very uncommon. I love the bodies of pregnant women.
huh? Okay,
That's my thing.
huh? All right.
Yep.
So Did you kind of just like get turned on by it, or you're like, oh, she's great.
Yeah.
That's fucking hot.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's just like the way that I'm like a big like chest and tummy person, like not just on women, but like on men too.
Right,
It's
right.
just like love it. And for some reason, like when women have like that huge baby bump, that's like the hottest thing to me. And I don't know where this came from, but I've always been like that ever since I was little. So that's like my one fetish that has like always been there since childhood.
Mine has been feet, and then later the thirst thing. That sort of worked its way in there too.
Mm.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's a thing too. Like if I'm holding her feet and she can't get up to get something to drink, I don't know.
Uh, that's
So,
cool. Yeah, well, it's just nice to have ones that like are like relatively innocent because it that I think when I said innocent or when I said wholesome before, I meant
oh
more
yeah, yeah,
like innocent. Because
yeah.
like it's not wholesome when we're like jerking off to this stuff, right?
Right.
But it's like from an outsider's perspective, it's like innocent and kind of just like quirky.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
feet thing. I talked to so many people, so many women who were like, yeah, like I mean, I'm a professional or whatever, but I'll sell my fucking feet pics for extra money.
Oh,
And they don't realize that there's a lot more to it than just taking a photo of your foot. It's like you've got to have like a following. You've got to, usually the rest of your body has to be in it, and you're wearing lingerie or whatever. You got to kind of set the mood, but
yeah.
but for sure, like you know, I don't even think everybody knows that people are getting off to these pictures of your feet.
I would
Or
assume they
maybe they
would.
don't care. Maybe they just don't care.
Well, I've actually heard of foot models, and
Yeah.
I think it was Koala was saying on the show that her mom used to do foot modeling. And
Really?
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, that piqued my interest for sure.
I bet.
I was like, really? She was like, yeah, she used to I don't know. I think it was just for shoes or some kind of thing like that. Obviously it wasn't anything sexual, but yeah, I just think that's hot. Like, wow.
Yeah. How cool would it to be like a hand or a foot model? I'm sure it pays a lot, especially if you're like in the JC Penney catalog or whatever. There, I'm dating myself, it but man, you have to be so careful. I read this news article about a woman who was a hand model and she had to wear gloves everywhere and like moisturize 3 times a day. And you can't
Oh,
get like any sort of like scratches, cuts on your fingers. So you're
damn.
like walking around just like almost like in,
Ooh. So
like
wait
you
a
can't
minute.
do a whole lot with your life because you have to protect your hands.
So the foot model girls, they can't go barefooted, huh?
Probably not. I would imagine like, maybe at home or something, but
That's
where it's
unjackums.
safe.
That
Yeah,
is
I know.
that's so unjackums. That's like, oh man.
Because you're not a shoe guy.
No, no shoes, no socks, none of that shit. And and like I said, I don't mind calluses and all kinds of shit. I have matter of fact, I have rankings for feet. Like there's two classifications. There's petite feeties, which are like, small feet, and then there's fumplings, foot dumplings, which are like really thick, like bigger feet, which I really love me some fumplings. You know?
I just love that word so much.
Which one, fumpling?
Yeah. Uh,
So, so what kind do you have?
oh my gosh, I can't believe I've never described my feet to you.
You never described your feet to me. I've just had to guess.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild. Okay, so they're really long and narrow. I'm like a size 9. So
Okay.
I've got like, a slightly bigger than average feet for a woman, but they're so narrow that I almost can't wear regular shoes.
Okay. See, they're thin. So you still kind of would fall in the fumbling category, I think.
I thought fumplings were like big feet, like big
they,
fat feet.
they could be that too. But I mean, also like long, like you were saying, you have longer feet. They're not petite feeties. You know what I mean? That's like an Asian chick.
like a size 5 or 6.
Yeah, like those kind of girls that have like I knew this girl named Yvette that I went to camp with. She had some petite feeties. They were cool. Like I said, I like all feet. I'm not going to discriminate. So
Yeah, I think like I don't know. I feel like I probably fall somewhere in the middle because my toes are like hands. There's I mean like fingers. They're like 2 inches long.
that's hot.
They're they're really, really, really long. Do you think I could make money as a foot model?
You probably could. I bet you could. You've never really shown your feet in any of your videos, huh?
I don't think so. Because the way that I have to film is all like waist up in my van.
Ah,
And I did
mm.
do some full body stuff when I was living in a house. But yeah, I never really showed my feet. There's like a one photo of me like wearing heels. That's about it.
I wonder if you did something sort of integrating the smoking with the feet somehow. Not smoking with your feet, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
Like,
did that.
have you?
I put a cigarette between my toes. Yeah, and I can technically do
No.
it, but I'm like not quite flexible enough
Right, where you couldn't
where
bring the
like I
cigarette
can
to your
take
mouth.
one drag, but it doesn't feel good.
Right. Damn.
I'm doing it right now without a cigarette. Yeah.
Really? You're doing it.
Yeah.
Wait. How are you? You're doing it without a cigarette? Or are you just trying to
Yeah,
do the
so
motion?
I've got my big toe is touching my nose right
Oh, wow.
now.
Okay. Or you know what you could do? You take a few drags off the cigarette, kind of put it between your toes. I don't know if that would, be a problem for you, if it would burn you or something like that. But you could kind of store it there like a cigarette holder for a second, and then just pull it back out and then take a few more drags off it.
Yes. That
You know?
that would be really good. Yeah, and then I could do like this photo where my feet are like in the foreground with the
Oh,
cigarette holding it, and then I'm in the background just like grinning
oh, that's
and
fucking hot.
wearing nothing but a smile. Yeah.
That's great. I didn't realize you were that flexible that you could actually touch. I don't think I could do some shit like that.
It doesn't feel great though, but you know what? I should do like yoga so I can do
Oh
it on
yeah,
the regular.
get in a yoga class. That's another thing. In those
Yeah.
yoga classes, all those women are barefooted. It's like, oh yeah, this is Jackham's. you know,
Right.
my my buddy's mom used to teach it. Well, I think she still does. I haven't gone to her yoga class in years, but yeah, I used to go occasionally, and it was mainly women in the class, and I'm just like, this is fucking cool. So yeah, I used to like going. It was expensive though. After a while, I was like, oh man, this is getting to be a little bit much.
Oh yeah, I've been to places where they do like donation-based yoga. My friend actually ran like a goat yoga
Oh,
class at her farm.
that's that's funny because I'm a goat.
You are a goat?
Yeah, that's my Zoozium name. Remember? I think
I
I told you.
didn't remember that.
Don't remember that. Okay, that's because I'm stubborn and I'll eat everything.
I love that so much. I think you maybe told me that a long time ago, because yeah. So do goats can they blow through a paper towel tube?
They can. I bet you they could. But we have horns too. So I mean, we could put the paper towel tube on our horns. We could put two on there, our horns actually. And I told you about joining heads, like if you have a common cause. So like, say me and Unicorn, we could join heads. But the thing is, she has one horn and I have two. And somebody pointed out, like, well, she's actually fucking you. And I'm like, oh wow, damn, that's some shit. You're right, because I have the two horns with her one horn going between them. So I guess if if we joined heads, we'd have to say horn fuck, or something.
Oh my God,
And
that's so goofy. Okay, so for anyone out there who doesn't know, like Max comes up with animal names for his dearest friends.
animal and object names for all the female, for mostly women. Obviously, the women I'll give animal or object names to, which we'll have to name Bexy when she comes on. Which that's a little plug. we got
Right.
we got Smoking Vexy coming on in November with us, and we'll be interviewing her.
Yes, I'm so excited. She is like the nicest person, and she was my mentor like 6 months ago getting into this whole game. So
Oh,
I'm so excited to do like some cross promotion with her. And yeah, she's just an awesome cat.
nice. Okay, so we'll have to name her. So
I know,
yes,
yeah.
so and Lace is a black mamba. That's you chose that name, by the way.
I did, yeah, because of Kill Bill.
Right.
And because Max was like, you have to choose a snake name, I think. I was like, okay. Because of
Well,
my tongue. That's where it came from.
that's what it was the tongue. Well, I had something. Remember, I was going to say Roman candle because they smoke,
Oh, right.
and you were like, "How about?" Because I remember I said it's got to be an animal or an object, and I think I had some other animal in mind, and I said, "Which one do you like?" And then you said, "How about black mamba?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool, we can do that one."
Yeah, it grew on me. I wasn't sure at first, but I like it a lot now.
You picked it.
And I would. It's tough when you pick a nickname for yourself, right? You're like, it feels a little cringy to me anyway. But
Ah,
then, like, the more that we keep saying it, I'm like, okay, that's me, you know?
right, right. It does fit. I mean, I wouldn't want to piss you off. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, act like a real nice guy, but watch your back.
Yeah,
Better not
especially
piss me off.
yeah, because you get bit by the black mamba.
Yeah, don't ever catfish me or catfish as me.
As you, yeah, exactly. That was, or fuck over your friends. Apparently, ask
Yeah,
Nicole the
right.
hole.
Yeah, that's the funny. I'm actually like uh very, very defensive of my friends. So you can probably fuck with me and I'll be like, whatever, but you fuck with Max or anybody else I know. Yeah, you're in for it.
It's your ass. Yeah, see, that's cool. Well, there was another point I was going to make. Oh, we're talking about feet. I could tell you a really disgusting fucking story.
Okay, yeah, what's up?
So there was this woman I dated when I was in college. Now, remember, I told you I had a fake ID back then. So I was really 19, but my fake ID said I was 22. So she was in my communications 216 class. And we were just talking one day, and I said, "Hey, you want to get together and study at some point? We got a test coming up." And she was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool." So I said, "Well, let me get your number." So I took her number, and this is back in like my player days. And so
Mhm.
anyway, she was 34, as I found out. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, we should maybe go hang out sometime, whatever." So we wind up nothing big. We wound up getting some beer and just going to her house, and I somehow I got playing with her feet. And I started to rub her
Wow.
feet. And then eventually I said, "Do you mind if I kiss your feet?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, that's cool." Well, she had this callus on her big toe. So then I started biting on it. And so, anyway, a long story short, we dated for a little while. It wasn't going to work out. I think she thought well, I wasn't messing with any other women for real, but I think she thought I was because she
Oh.
was really insecure. I guess she had another boyfriend that was the guy that she dated before me who was doing stuff like that. So anyway, we wind up breaking up, whatever. And so I see her in my communications class one day, and she's like, "Hey, I got something for you. So wait up." And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm walking out, and she says, "Hey, you remember that callus you used to bite on my toe?" She's like, I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, it fell off this morning, and I put it in this envelope for you." And I was like,
Oh my God.
I was like,
How did
"Oh,
you feel about that?
that kind of." I gotta say, it kind of freaked me out now because it's dead skin. It's not attached. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'd be
it's
like,
not about the thing that falls off your foot. It's about your foot, honey.
exactly. Or even if, like, say you kept your amputated foot and you gave it to me, that would be like, okay, this is creepy. It's because it's now dead. It's not part of you anymore.
So if somebody stuffed their foot, like you just like you have a girlfriend and you just love their feet and it has to be amputated and they stuff it for you, that wouldn't do anything for you.
Oh, that yeah, it would kind of creep me out a little bit. Like, whoa, this isn't cool. I got my limits
Yeah.
sometimes.
I don't know. I mean, you could like put it in the microwave for a little bit, warm it up so it seemed real.
Jesus. Yeah, microwave. Wow. Oh shit. Yeah, that would be
Gross.
interesting, I guess. But
Oh
no.
man.
Oh man, that's well, we have tackled some pretty creepy shit on this show so far.
Yeah, well, when you and I put our heads together, like
Oh
it's
yeah.
definitely not for public consumption, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are, and now they're going to consume it, listen to it, and what? You know what's weird though is I haven't seen. We get a shitload of views on the videos that you've done with us. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
but I never get any comments.
that's right. Yeah, it's interesting.
Kind of strange. You would think somebody would be like, hey Lace, you're fucking hot, or I watch your channel or something, but no comments, but a lot of views.
Yeah, that's really strange. I know the first one we did together, I think has over 1,000 for sure, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, you think someone would say something.
yeah, yeah. Because obviously they're people that I'm assuming they come from your channel.
Yeah, well, so in my link tree, which is my like little simplistic website that has all of my links on it,
Uh-huh.
um, that podcast episode, the very first interview that we did, is
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
linked on there.
Oh,
It's pretty much all the way at the bottom, but if anyone really wants to do a deep dive into me, they can click that. And
huh.
so that's a big reason why it has so many hits. But yeah, so if you're out there hearing this, leave a comment.
Yeah.
I'm totally willing to do like an AMA at any point or whatever.
Now what's an AMA?
Ask me anything.
Oh, I see. This is that like, oh shit. Okay, like kind of like the kids with the BRB and the
Yeah.
POS and all that other shit.
Yeah, I think it originated on Reddit, which is kind of like a kid. I don't know if it's a website for younger people, but there's a lot of young people on there. I don't know. Um, and then another one that comes from Reddit is AFAIK, I think.
What's that?
Hang on. It's
AF.
or no, it's Am I the Asshole? AITA. Am I the Asshole?
Oh,
And it's this whole thread of basically people saying, "Hey, my girlfriend and I got in an argument and she said this and I said that. Am I the asshole here or is she?"
oh. So they're trying to ask the audience, like, what do you think? What's your feedback on this? Was I a dick, or did she deserve what she got, or whatever?
Word, yeah.
Huh.
So those are big on Reddit, but I'm totally willing to do like a ask me anything type. You can ask anything you want in the comments or whatever.
That would be cool. Well, and we've never gone live. I fucked around with that for a little bit on the iPad, just by myself trying to go live, and I did that for a bit. I think Jeff Cruise Control's never really been crazy with the whole camera thing.
Mm.
Like I wouldn't mind getting a camera and hooking it up and then just doing like going live so people could, because obviously you can't go live with just audio.
Yeah, that's right. I would totally do that with you. Where would we do it? Like,
Just like we do now, I guess. We would just put our cameras on. You know what? Maybe I need to get a camera. Maybe I just.
yeah.
So I have one at work, obviously, because I do Zoom meetings there. But for home, no, I don't have one, and I probably should get one. And then maybe we could start doing the smoke breaks live. Then we might start getting some feedback, like in the chat or something.
Oh, so we can do it all on YouTube. I didn't even realize that was a function.
Yipper. Oh yeah, that's one of the things you either see like it says upload video or go live. So you can go live. Now the last time I tried to do it, I could go live from the iPad, but I couldn't from the computer. And it was saying because I didn't have enough subscribers, but that was back in 2018 or whatever the hell it was.
Oh,
So,
you
that
think
was,
you might know?
I think now I should, well, let's see, I have 398. So I would think that would be enough. I don't know. We'll have to experiment, see how
Well,
it works.
yeah, I've got like 2,300 on mine. So if you end up not being able to do it, then maybe we can go
Go
over to
live
my
on yours.
channel and yeah.
Huh. Okay. Shit, I've never, we'd go live. Would I have to send you a link? I guess I would, huh? So you could jump
Yeah,
in.
I have no idea, but we could probably like Oh man, yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to look more into this.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, this is a homework assignment we can both do.
That's exciting. And then we'll take callers. Now, I guess people just like comment and right.
Usually in the chat. Yeah, and the live shows I've seen, people are just dropping shit in the chat and saying stuff.
Yeah.
So like there's
Hell yeah.
a podcast I like to listen to. And I even comment in the chat a lot of times. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, well, the STEM radio says blah 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 blah. So it's kind of cool to hear your chat read on the air.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely you can get some a little bit of notoriety.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, I think you probably because when people hear, oh, they're live, oh damn, let me jump in there. Although I don't like live stuff usually because it's more focused on the chats and the this, stuff that I can't see.
Oh, right.
So unless I'm actually scrolling through and reading the chats, but I'm trying to listen to the person, what they're talking about. So if it's just
Yeah. Usually I think I haven't done a whole lot of live stuff like as a watcher, but I do know that there's usually someone behind the scenes that is like screening all the comments and like picking out the best questions. And
oh
then like they would like give them to me or something. But I could be that person, especially if there's not like 100 people on there at the same time.
right, you could look and whatever jumps out at you,
Yeah.
it'd actually be kind of fun. Well, yeah,
And then
we'll
in
have
the
to,
meantime, you and I could just talk about whatever.
of course, like we always do,
Yeah.
like we're doing now,
Yeah.
talking about fumplings and other crazy shit.
So much crazy shit. If we haven't lost all of your viewership by now, then I'd be surprised.
I don't know. I think we gained some viewership actually.
You think so? Yeah, probably. How many more subscribers have you gotten since we started doing videos?
I want to say I was at like 370 something, 377 when we first started doing the thing. And now it's up to 398. I was just looking today. It said 398.
Okay, cool. I wish it was more, but hey, it's a start.
Yeah, yeah. It's going. It's well, and we're not monetized and we don't do all this other shit. We don't have sponsors and which kind of annoys the shit out of me too when these YouTubers start doing it. And this is for the sponsor of our show, Guardio or whatever. I'm like, fuck, dude, we get enough ads on YouTube as it is.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's like way too often, and I guess they figure you're more likely to keep watching if it's like them talking about the ad.
I guess so, but it's still an ad. It's like it's taking away from what I originally jumped in to watch the video on.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that's tough. I feel like I want people to hear y'all's podcast though, not from like a monetization side, but just because it's super funny, like the stuff that you and Cruz do is
oh
just
yeah.
like has me rolling. And then your interviews are so freaking interesting. I listened to the one with Chosen. I got
Oh
about
really?
halfway through and then I got busy, but yeah, he's like a super interesting person.
Yeah, he is.
And his
He's
music is so good.
oh, well, so you like his music too?
Absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll have to let him know. Because I have not gotten him, by the way, as a driver since that day.
Oh, bummer.
I know, I know. And I don't know why, but yeah, no, that's how it started. He actually picked me up from something, and we had a few drop-offs and pickups before it was me. It's kind of interesting how Silver Ride works too, because it's a car, basically. It's just the guy's using his own personal car, and kind of like the Uber pooling that they do. I don't know how if you've ever
Oh,
taken Uber or had to take Uber or anything.
yeah. Do you have like other passengers on the ride with you?
Yeah, sometimes we do.
Okay.
So like I'll get picked up and there'll be somebody in the car already, or we'll go pick someone else up and then we'll either drop them off or they'll take me or whatever, but usually it's just two passengers at a time in most
Mhm.
cases. So, but it's an offshoot service from paratransit because paratransit is a door-to-door bus service. And oh fuck, you could be on those buses for I've been on there for like an hour or 2 hours sometimes. So,
Oh, really? Like having to wait for other people's stops?
uh-huh. So they'll like pick someone up, then pick someone else up, and then go drop another person off, and then go pick someone else up. And it's just like, oh my God. And a lot of times it's just like going in a circle too. You're in the same neighborhoods picking up and dropping off, and you're just like, oh fuck. And then too, you got to, because they take wheelchairs on those buses too. So, they got to
Oh,
put the lift down, put the person on the bus, tie the chair down, and that sucks up time. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that sounds annoying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it used to be. And actually, it got to the point. This is why I started using Silver Ride in the first place, is because, you know, paratransit was, they weren't giving a fuck about getting you to your appointments on time at all. It got to that point.
Oof.
And yeah, I was getting to work late, like at least 3 times a week.
Oh
So,
God.
so I had to call my supervisor because she was cool enough to do this. She said, if you know you're going to be more than 15 minutes late, call me and just let me know, and then you can flex the time off. And I was like, okay, cool. So we were doing that a lot. And one day we had an event for work, and our table just happened to be right next to the Regional Transportation Commission, who does the paratransit service.
Mhm.
So I went over there and expressed my frustration. And she's like, well, there's other options. We have other alternatives. There's something called Silver Ride, and there's something called U-Serve, which it's a car service where they come and get you. So I was like, anything that might be a little more reliable than paratransit, I'd love to hear it. So anyway, I wound up getting on those, and I use those mostly now.
Okay. I wonder if you can request Chosen as like your if you
I,
can
w-
request him as your driver.
I wish I could. If you could just, that'd be great, because there are a few drivers that I wouldn't mind getting again, like I said, but I have not had him since that day he picked me up. So
Maybe since you guys did that podcast episode, he got a bunch of gigs. Now he's too busy.
I don't know.
He blew
Um,
up.
I think it only has like 8 or 9 views on it, which sucks, but I I don't know. But and that was just, remember, that was only a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago or something.
Oh, I know. I hope he does get famous though. His that first track that was on your episode,
The
that
couch.
reminded me of the 90s too.
Oh, totally, totally. It had that like Black Moon, that abstract, type feel to it.
Yeah, there's something about it, and that just filled me with nostalgia. I was like, all right, this is my speed. I don't listen to a lot of hip hop, but that spoke to me.
Nice. I'll have to let him know.
Hell yeah.
I'll let him know. I didn't realize you listened to that. That's cool.
Yeah, where you live is a really good place for music. Um, I went there a couple years ago and saw a whole bunch of different shows, and more like in my genre, like I really like punk and um, sort of like in that vein.
Right, right.
And punk is alive and well.
Oh yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is great. And we went to some kind of hole in the wall bars and saw some of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah. There's definitely a big punk rock, even heavy metal scene out this way. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So, matter of fact, there's a group. I used to hang out with those guys. You ever heard of a group called Hemlock?
Kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah, they were cool guys. They used to. They actually came in the studio when I was over there recording one time, and the guy, Chad, I think the vocalist, he was like, "Who's that guy?" Because he heard me in there rapping, and he was like, "He's hard. Who the fuck is he?" And they were like, "Oh, that's Be Sick." So, you know, I came out. And they're like, "Yeah, man, definitely give us a call, and maybe we could do something together. We could." I'm like, "All right, cool." So anyway, I was kind of cool with those guys. I lost touch with them though. I'm not sure where they all went. I should probably poke around and see if I could find any of them.
Yeah, how cool would that be? Did they are like how famous are those guys?
Well,
Or are
that's what
they
I was.
more local?
I thought, well, they're definitely big locally, but I thought, well, maybe they may have branched out. So that's why I was asking you if you had ever heard of them.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so. But
Huh.
that's super awesome. Um, Especially like I know maybe this isn't as much the case anymore, but like rap and metal became like so hand in hand in the early 2000s. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's still the case, but
Like, yeah, like, what's that, Lincoln Park, or you know,
Yeah.
some of the older
Limp
Kid Rock,
Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. Yep. Or Power Man 2001 or whatever the hell that group was called.
Yeah, those guys for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool, and they put scratching in their music behind the guitars, and that rock rap type thing is pretty cool. Well, Rage Against the Machine kind of started that a little bit. Well, Beastie Boys too. I gotta give credit where credit is due, I guess.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and B-boys used to be like a lot heavier
Yeah,
when they were still playing it like CBGBs right in the beginning.
yeah. You talking about Beastie Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you remember License to Ill was like, shit. When that came out, it was like, this is cool. Because that was still in the hair band type. They were kind of in that vibe a little bit with mixing it with rap, which was unheard of back then.
Yeah, I totally forgot. That's so cool. Them and then you mentioned Rage.
Oh yeah, I
There's
loved Rage.
I feel like people have tried to recreate that same vibe and it's just no one will ever do it like those two artists.
No, no, they're the originators. So, although Kid
Yeah.
Rock was doing it for a little bit too, though.
Yeah, I don't know if he did it as well, but
He
he
did,
was definitely one of the earlier ones too.
yeah. He did it. He was kind of a Beastie Boy ripoff a little bit, but he had a little, like that Polyfuse Method is a great album. I love that album.
Is that a Kid Rock album?
Yeah, it's a Kid Rock. Yep, it's the second. I think it's like a second album.
Oh,
So,
okay. I've only heard the one that got really popular with Bawa Taba.
oh, you mean Devil Without a Cause or whatever it was?
I'm not sure, but that came out during my formative years. I think I was probably in eighth grade or something, and he blew
That's
up.
That's right. I remember that too. I was kind of surprised. I was like, damn, because this guy who was from Detroit wound up lending me his Kid Rock album. Actually, we did an exchange. I let him borrow an Esham album. He let me borrow a Kid Rock album, and he left with my Esham tape. So I'm like, well, fuck. I guess I'm keeping his Kid Rock then. And you know, and yeah, he went. Well, we were. It's kind of a strange thing. I was going to the University of Arizona for it was like a 6-week program for it. It was like they called it a bridge program, sort of a college preparatory, because my parents wanted me to go to University of Arizona because they had a really good disability resource center, but I just didn't want to. It just wasn't. You go, well, this, you of all people know this. When you go to a place and it just doesn't feel right for you,
Yeah.
it's not your vibe. So I was like, no, this ain't my thing. I rather go to UNLV, you know, which kind of pissed my dad off, but that's all right. He got over it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Huh. Oh, just because it wasn't his idea.
well, no, because he wanted me to have, which I see, their disability resource center out at U of A was great. They had a really nice, they had all the, I mean, here at UNLV, they didn't even have a lot of the screen reading software on the computers.
Oh.
So I kind of had to improvise a little bit. That's one thing. See, this is when you're resourceful and you find other ways to adapt. So if I had to write a paper, I would just use somebody's computer. I could type my ass off, but I didn't always know how it looked. I couldn't proofread it. So then I would have that person, whoever computer it was, they'd come over and they'd proofread it, and they'd fix all the spelling and grammar mistakes and whatever. And boom, there I was. I had a paper.
Yeah, you got by from a little help with your friends.
Exactly. You did what you had to do.
Yeah.
Now it's funny because I go back there and they have all that stuff. And I'm just like, damn, I just had to break ground everywhere here, didn't I?
Yeah, you probably bitch to those guys somewhere down the line.
I think other people did too, but it was just like, I'm going to do this because I wanted to stay here. This is home. I know this place. You'll hear that in the other thing I was going to send you with the thing I did the other night, the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll send when that's up. I'll send that to you too. You'll hear me tell the whole story. You'll get more in depth on that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I hope he publishes it soon.
Yeah. I hope they put it up because she said they're going to put it up, but we'll see. We'll see when it goes. So
Yeah.
Anyway, well, shit. We just blew through an hour here.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to, I don't know if I'm like out of juice or out of topics or what.
It happens. It happens. Where after a while you're like, okay, well, we said what we need to say. That's one thing. You never want to just. It's quality over quantity. You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes
I,
sense.
I mean that way it's good stuff because otherwise we're just talking about dumb shit like what we had for breakfast. I'm sure most people are like, okay, this is fucking boring.
Yeah.
Oh, but I did want to tell you because we're talking about YouTube and stuff like that. A friend of mine, he meant well, but he tried to get this one YouTuber. I guess if you pay the guy a certain, like a couple dollars or whatever, he'll plug your YouTube channel. So he's like, yeah,
Oh,
man, I want him to plug your guy's podcast, nah, nah. So he paid this dude. I don't know how much he paid him, but anyway, the guy's plug was the most disingenuous plug I've ever heard in my life. It was
oh,
like, it was like, yeah, go to the Stim Radio, youtube.com, the Stim Radio, and check out Nothing Sacred. Yeah, check out their podcast. And it was just like, this guy does.
boo.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like, and I finally told him, I was like, dude, save your money, man. Don't. I realize you're trying to help us, but just support and listen, man. Don't do all that other stuff because this guy just gave a shitty plug.
Yeah, that's too bad, man. If someone paid me to promote them on my channel, it would be like the most exuberant, outgoing,
That's what I'm saying. I
I'd
would
probably
plug
like research their shit ahead of time.
right. I'd plug the shit out of them. Like, and you know what they did before this, and they used to be part of this channel or whatever. But now it's like, man, yeah, this guy he just kind of seemed like he's. I don't know. I don't know what his deal was, but it was. I wish I still had the plug. I'd send it to you. It was really bad.
Yeah. Honestly, I work for I'm like the social media marketer for a podcast, a different one that is based kind of closer to where I'm stationed now.
Ah,
And it's my job to find interviewees.
oh,
And so like I have gotten some, I don't want to say big names, but one of them has an Amazon movie,
oh,
which is like kind of cool, right? Like I
that's
was
very
really
cool.
happy to be able to book this guy. And I'm pretty sure there's no way my boss could ever find this podcast, but they're really bad interviewers. Like
Oh, that
they don't
sucks.
research the people ahead of time at all. And I do. I watched the Amazon documentary. I like looked up this guy's past and I'll feed them cliff notes here and there and say, this is what it's about, this is what they did before, whatever. And they don't even listen. The
That's
so
so wow.
it's so unprofessional and like yes, okay, so they're very, very new to podcasting. It's a very amateur outlet. So
Okay.
it's like I get it. They've never been on radio before. Well, this one guy has, one guy hasn't. But and so we were interviewing this woman who was releasing a book. She was nice enough to send us the unpublished manuscript. And I read like the first 50 pages. Should have read more, but I only read the first 50 pages and they didn't bother to read it.
Oh
So
God.
the first question they asked her is, what is your book about?
Oh no.
And I wanted to cry. I was like listening in live, and I'm just like, this person is like essentially my friend at this point because we've been doing so much cross promotion and like, and they really did her dirty like that.
Oh, that sucks. And here it kind of fucks your credibility too, because
It
you sent
does.
this person to them like, hey, they're a podcast, and you probably really talked them up, and then they do shit like that, and it's just like, oh God, man, really?
Yeah, it makes it tough when you like don't believe in what the organization you belong to. But it makes me feel more confident that I could do a better job in interviewing people, which is why I'm so like fortunate that you pitched that to me. Like, why don't you interview somebody? And then I came
Yeah,
up with like, we'll just keep it to smoking fetish,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's like a topic I know about. And I am so excited for that. I was like a little nervous when I first thought about it, but now I'm like, no, let's do this.
You're down for it now. Well, that's why I
Totally.
suggested too. Like, if there's bands you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny because I thought people would be like, oh, like a no-name podcast? I'm not wasting my time with that. But you would be amazed at how people, I mean, probably not you because you know this already, but they just love to hear themselves talk.
Oh yeah. Well,
And they'll
that's
go on anything to get their brand out there or whatever.
yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, it seems like uh maybe not so much rappers nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, I've tried to reach out to some guys that I reached out to back in the day that did let me interview them, but it's almost like now they're, oh, you don't have enough likes and views. You don't have enough. It's not worth my time. Whereas I would think more bands you like the punk rock people, they're a little more down to earth. So they'd be down. Matter of fact, we just had I think it was like last year. You ever heard of a group called Outlier?
Nope.
Oh, okay. You might dig them. I might send you the interview we did with the guy, Joey Arena.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, I think you'd like their music because it has that like early 2000s feel to it a little bit. That's yeah, I actually this publicist, I'm on her emailing list, and we've had a few other people that she's sent out or whatever. So I heard them, and I'm like, oh, this band's pretty good. We got to check them out. Let's get them on. So anyway, that was a really cool interview, and he was very down to earth, very cool dude. So
That's awesome. I've got a friend in the smoking fetish community who has a metal podcast that is great. And he was telling me that he just like goes to metal shows and then afterwards he talks to the band and is like, "Hey, do you want to be interviewed on our podcast?" And he said
huh,
like 90% of the time they're just like, "Sure." And so they've gotten some huge fucking names on there. And like sometimes people who live in Scandinavia and have like a black metal band and they'll come on this show and like with like these two guys that they're getting a bigger following now because they've got those big names and it just makes me think how any podcast could really snowball as long as you know the right people.
right, right. Well, and that's it's really hit or miss too. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on who you're going for, and you got to be realistic. Like I was telling you, if it's a big name like a Radiohead or something like that, I probably couldn't get them, but
Hmm.
somebody a little more underground, I probably could.
Hmm.
So, that's I just heard you light your cigarette.
Yeah. That's why I was not really responding. Yes, I have been chain smoking this whole time.
Oh, nice. Well,
Um,
it's called the smoke break.
yeah. How cool would it be to get Tom York on Nothing Sacred though, for sure.
Tom York, and from Radiohead.
Yeah.
That would be well, shit. If they were on South Park, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, yeah, I don't know about this little fucking podcast. But some of these guys are real arrogant too. Like I said, especially the rappers. Rappers have got more arrogant, and that's kind of why I've sort of strayed away from that a little bit. We've kind of gone more towards authors and even law enforcement and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. I still have to listen to that one that you did with the police officer. It got a whole bunch of views, right?
Which
Didn't
one? The
it?
guy, the police chief from Hazen, Arkansas?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to that one next.
That's a really good one. That's up on a channel, and actually, it's our most viewed video. So
Okay.
even more so than the one we did with Jay Dobbins, who's the author of No Hero, or what is it? No Angel, My Harrowing Journey into the Hell's Angels.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, he's ex ATF, and he infiltrated the Hell's Angels, and he wrote a book about it. So it was pretty cool.
That's so wild. Is it just somebody like a connection that you had?
Actually, you know what? I heard him on my buddy Lieutenant Randy Sutton's podcast, who's a former police officer with Metro, and his show is called Blue Lives Radio, or the Wounded Blue. I think it's now called the Wounded Blue Hour. But he has a lot of police officers and people that are in law enforcement on his show. So I heard him on Randy's show, and I was like, man, I'm in. See, I wanted to read the book first, so that's what I
Right.
did. I listened to the book, and I was like, damn, I got to reach out to this dude. So I found him on Facebook, and yeah, we just started talking on there, and he agreed to come on. So I'm like, all right, cool.
That's awesome. I know somebody who, let's see, it's Ron Livingston's sister. He's an
Oh,
actor.
Oh, okay.
And I know somebody who is friends with, yeah, with his sister. And so they're like, oh, maybe you could get Ron Livingston on your show. I'm like, wow, that would be crazy. It's not like he's like a super big A-list name, but he's really funny and really cool. I think he'd be a great podcast guest.
Huh. Be an interesting person, I guess. And what was he in? What were some of his movies?
Most well, he was in Office Space. That was
No.
yeah, he's
Who
the
did he
main guy
play?
in Office Space, the main dude.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So that was what I knew him from first, but then recently he did a show called Louder Milk about him. He's a recovering alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
That's on Netflix and it's super fucking funny.
Huh. So he kind of pokes fun at recovering from being an alcoholic then.
Yes,
Oh,
100%.
wow. Okay. I'll have to check that out. What's
Oh
it called?
yeah,
Louder Milk?
Louder Milk. It's his last
Huh.
name. Very
Oh,
strange. Yeah. So
okay.
character's last name, but yeah, it's super funny. I think you'd like it.
Huh. I'll have to check that out. That's pretty. There was something else. It came and left. That's how it is. The train of thought hits you and then it leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about podcasting and guests and shit. I don't I don't remember. Oh, I know what it was. So a couple years, about a year or so ago, this guy I know, his name's Kenneth, and he's now blind, but prior to going blind, he actually drove trucks,
Hmm.
and he didn't know I did a podcast. We actually met on Facebook in one of these blind groups. So I don't remember how it came up that I do a podcast, but he was like, man, he was like, I'm actually trying to start my own truck driving business now. And I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, yeah. So he goes, I should come on your podcast and talk about the trucking industry. And I was like, so it made me think. Recently, I started thinking about it. I was like, I wonder if, because, you used to do, own your own truck driving business. So it'd be interesting for you guys to talk truck driving.
Oh man. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know. I'm not super happy with the industry.
Well, that's what's great. I think that would be awesome to hear these, differing perspective, and he might even
Yeah.
have some of the same gripes you have.
Yeah, and I mean if he wants to start a business, I mean, I think I could give him some good perspective on that.
That would be, well, I think he said he was getting it going, or he had it going, or I don't remember. Like I said, this was about a year or so ago, and he had asked to come on, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'll get at you, man. And then it never happened.
Mm.
So, maybe I'll reach back out to him and see if he'd be interested in coming on and talking trucking with us.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I couldn't do it as smoking lace. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
You could. You
It'd be
could.
a little strange.
I mean, it's part of you. It's the trucking thing, I guess, because you've
Yeah.
talked about it. So,
You'd be like, who's interviewing me? They're a
well,
what?
and I think it would, well, but see, that's what you're dynamic. It's not just, you're not just one thing. You're not just like, okay, I'm the smoking chick. That's kind of why I was talking about, possibly interviewing bands and whatever too, to kind of get you, to let people know there's more to smoking lace than just smoking fetish stuff all the time.
Yeah, you know what? That brings us back to something we were talking about earlier too, about the fact that it's some people like to, sorry, it's raining so hard here.
Where are you, by the way?
I'm in a Home Depot parking lot.
Oh, no, no, I'm saying what what city or what state? What just give us the state. Tell, because
I'm in the
cruise control
Pacific
likes.
Northwest right now.
Oh, you're back there again?
Yep,
Oh, wow. You must love it out there. Well, that's cool.
I do. The fall is crazy though. It just pretty much never stops raining, but anyway, it we were talking about how cool it is sometimes to get to know the model, who they really are as a person,
Yeah,
and not just like sort of them as like an actress or whatever, in character.
right, right.
I think some people don't care. It's like 50-50, right? Some people just really don't give a shit. It's like, just make me a sexy video. And then the other people like really want to know the person behind, VHS behind the music.
See, I'm into shit like that. Like, when I go to Wikipedia, I want to read all about the person, like personal, they have that section, personal life. And, so I like little tidbits that I didn't know about the person. That's kind of why, I think it's cool that you're talking about, oh yeah, I do the van life thing and I used to live here and I did this. I like learning about you. I don't really, the smoking thing is secondary to me.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really nice. Um, Definitely I like being real if I can help it. Of course, I can't be totally myself when I make customs for people because
So
I have made a couple where I was sort of just talking like this, and being my normal goofy self, and it probably wasn't that sexy. You really got to give like the, oh, hey, the like
see, I
very
don't like that fake
sultry
shit.
voice.
We talked about that before too. That's like, to me, it's too canned.
Yeah, some people, a lot, I would say probably the majority of people, that's what they want
Wow. You'd rather
because
have somebody
they're,
lie to you, man. Isn't that crazy?
I think it's like it doesn't go that deep for them, It's purely just how it makes their brain feel and how it makes their dick feel, If that makes sense.
I mean, if that's the case, you can fuck a mattress. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. To me, it's just, yeah, it's got to be real, and that's why I gravitated to your stuff because, like I said, you get goofy sometimes, and you're funny, and you have other things going on. That I like that real shit. That's my thing. I'm all about that.
Yeah, I find like I've subscribed to a couple people on OnlyFans myself, which is funny because it ends up being sort of like I'm just putting more money into I'm putting my OnlyFans money back into the OnlyFans pipeline for like other people.
Oh, you've actually really you paid to subscribe to some people?
Yes, twice.
Really? Because when I look at your page, it says spent $0. So,
On you.
oh, I see what you're saying.
I've
Well,
never made it rain on you, Max, but
oh, you don't need to make it rain on me. I prefer, I'm just there. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Well, I post shit sometimes, being, having fun. So,
I love your posts. They're
oh
so
yeah,
funny.
I post the same kind of shit. If you're on my Facebook, you'd be seeing the same thing. That's what I do.
Oh yeah.
I post some of that, either it's funny stuff or I'll post the shows, just another platform for me to post the shows to, even though I don't have like a shitload of people following me, but I don't care. It's still fun.
Hell yeah. It's a lot of gripes. Like
Oh, yeah.
the one where you were talking about like trolling a scammer.
Oh, yeah. That's the fuckers from yesterday that wanted to sell me a security system.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Those people just piss me off because I get those calls like all day, every day, just constantly.
Really?
Oh yeah, I get hammered with them. Well, like Cruise Control pointed out, he's like, because you answer them, and I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Might as well take a lemon and make it lemonade. I'm gonna get these calls anyway. I might as well have fun fucking with them.
Yeah, exactly. It drives people so crazy. Like I remember my dad we'd be like sitting down to eat. It'd be, 6, 7 p.m. and he'd get a phone call from a telemarketer and just be like, "It's fucking dinner time," and like slam the phone down.
That's great. I mean, that's what you got to do. Just scream at these people, and or if you make them cuss at you, that's even better.
Yeah.
Like,
I do get them every now and then. Someone was like, they were like, they told me my old address back before I got on the road, and they were like, "Hey, like you're the owner of this house, right?" And I was like, "No, I just rented. I don't live there anymore. I was renting." And they're like, "Well, do you want to sell it?" And I'm like, "You're not listening to me. Like, I
I
have a
just told you.
landlord. I can get you in touch with my landlord." And he's like, "Oh, well, like, do you have any other properties you want to sell?" I'm
Like,
like,
motherfucker, listen to what I'm
"No."
saying to you.
I was
See,
so confused.
well, I think they were too. They're probably using a script that they have to
Oh
follow,
yeah, you're
so
right.
they have to just stick to well, do you have any other properties? Like, well, no, dumbass. Listen to what's being said to you because they're so busy looking at the rebuttals, at the rebuttal sheet, you know?
Must have been that guy's first day. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I had one of those motherfuckers actually call me back. Well, what happened was, I guess about a week before, I got a female that called me, wanting to buy the property, and I probably said some fucked up shit to her about, you want to sell me some pussy or something, some whatever I said. No, she said, "Will you take a cash offer on your property?" And I said, "Will you take a cash offer for some pussy?" And so anyway, I guess she hung up on me, whatever. But a week later, I get a call from this guy, Indian sounding dude, and he knows my name. He asked for me by name, and I said, "Yeah, this is me." And he's like, "You gave one of my female coworkers a hard time, you motherfucker." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "If you do that again, we will come to your house. We will fuck you up." And I was just like, "I wish you would, motherfucker. I'd love to blast one of you dune coons off my porch." you know? you know?
I can't believe they called you back.
Oh yeah. That's was the craziest thing. Like I said, he knew my name, and I think what happened. They probably have a list of names, but it must have really traumatized. I wonder if it was the guy's girlfriend. And
That
he's
could
like
be
playing Captain Save him for her or something. I don't know.
Captain Save a Ho.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. So he was like, "Oh, don't worry, honey. I will call him up and I will make him pay. Fuck him. I'm gonna talk
Yeah,
shit
we're
to him."
we're gonna scare the bejesus out of this guy. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, "Okay, dude. Yeah, I dare you to show up at my house." Actually, Cruise Control and I came up. I think it was on one of the shows, but it's a movie. It's called Last Call, and basically, it's about something like that where this telemarketer goes looking for this dude who trolls them all the time when they call him. So
Oh, okay.
he's a phone scammer like this guy, and like his girlfriend works for the call center, and the guy said some really offensive shit to the girlfriend or whatever. So he's like out to avenge her now, and he actually shows up to the dude's house and starts stalking him or something.
That's a really fucking funny premise. I know that's part of Punch Drunk Love too, where he calls like a 900 number to, you know, have what's it called, like a sex hotline with some woman,
Right. Yeah.
and they just steal his credit card information, and then he ends up fucking going to like Akron, Ohio or whatever, wherever the fuck they're based out of, and like shakes them down, gets his money back.
Oh, because he felt he got ripped off, huh?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
And yeah, imagine getting retribution like that. My parents are in their 70s and they get scammed all the time.
Oh, see, that's the shit that pisses me off. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
they're actually ripping off old people like that. And they're actually, you say they've gotten scammed. It's not just like they're getting the calls, they're actually getting scammed.
Yes, well, because like, man, my mom will call me and I'm like, "Hey, how's your day?" And she's like, "Oh," she's like totally not even making sense. She's like, "Oh, I tried to give money to that guy and to get my Amazon account back, and he just like couldn't figure it out. I couldn't remember my Cash App password. It's just been a hell of a day." And I was like, "Wait,
Oh
who in the
boy.
what now?" And yeah, like this was a couple years ago. She was trying to like get a new to like re-up her Amazon subscription, and she ended up calling this phone number that just happened to be in like a text message she got from like people claiming to be Amazon.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I used to get the calls all the time.
Yeah, like instead of going to the Amazon website or calling me, which is what she really should be doing,
Right,
and
right.
and then ended up talking to like 8 different guys. She's like, I was on the phone for 6 hours with these guys, and
Oh,
they still
hell
couldn't
no.
figure out, and they gave me a really great deal on a membership.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so
God.
she didn't get taken for a ton because like her and my dad don't have a ton, but you know, how terrible would that be if she was like dipping into savings or some shit?
Well, the fact that they took anything from her is a little bit disturbing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and it's like the fourth time that's happened over the years.
Oh, hell no. Oh, that's
I
bad.
know.
Yeah, those
Yep.
people, you got to educate her on that because that's not cool at all. By the way,
I have.
would she be Mama Mamba?
I guess so, yeah.
So, no, that's yeah, God, because there's so many. There's another one where people will actually call and they'll say, hey, grandpa. And they think that they're talking, the person thinks it's really their grandson because they're a little bit out of it or whatever. And they'll say,
Oh.
hey, I got arrested on my way to work. Can you send some money to me? And so that's what they'll do. I actually got one time. It was funny because I answered the phone. This guy goes, hey, grandpa. And I'm just like, huh? Like, I don't have grandkids. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, hey, I got arrested this morning on my way to work. So then I start fucking with him. And I'm like, oh, I said, well, in that case, I'm going to have to come down and bring you some Vaseline because they're going to tear your little ass up. And he hung up, of course.
Oh man, it's so messed up. My friend was telling me about a scam call that her grandma got, and her family's, relatively wealthy, and they were telling her grandmother, oh, we've got your grandson in lockup right now, pretending to be a police officer
Oh,
and saying,
Jesus.
he did something really bad, like he got in an accident, he's on for like vehicular homicide or whatever, and you need to bail him out. And they started asking for more and more money, and she started giving it to him. And after 2 days of this, they got her for $250,000.
Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Just unscrupulous, fucking horrible people.
I know, it's like, get a fucking job, quit scamming, innocent people. It's so terrible. I hate it.
Well, here's what I think. I really think, because a lot of times they say, oh, the Indian scammers, the this, that, whatever. I think the ringleaders of these scams are actually in this country, in corporate America, and India is just the workhorse.
Ooh, yeah, that could be.
Because I know years ago these calls were being made by Americans, and now
Right.
all of a sudden they're Indian, and I'm like, okay, that's what it is. Well, it's like the movie I was watching. I told you about the other night, Outsourced, that I watched. Somebody told me to watch that. So,
Yeah.
and it's true. It's what happens. These companies are like, hey, they're gonna work for cheaper, and they don't want what American people are gonna want, and we don't have to pay them benefits and all this other shit. So yeah, they'll actually send somebody to India from the company to train them how to be more, well, how to talk more American, I guess, as it were.
Right. You know what? That's a really good point. And then the tough thing is it makes people so racist. Like, oh, this Indian company tried to scam me. And it's like, no, it's probably fucking white people doing all this shit.
It is.
It's really like these employees, so to speak, really aren't probably seeing much of that money.
Oh, fuck no. They're still living in their shit shacks.
Right.
you know. But meanwhile, corporate Jim, again with the digested green beans dripping from his eyelashes, he's, you know, he's making money hand over fist. Oh, Jimmy, let's go to Bora Bora and felch come out of each other's assholes. That's just
I
the
don't
tip
even know what to say.
that's just the tip of the iceberg. I have these recorded rants on my hard drive where I go into that stuff all the time, and I'm just really going in. It depends on what it is.
Oh my goodness. I know you hate corporate America so much. I'm pretty like anti-consumerism myself. Um,
Yeah.
I don't do Christmas shopping. Um, it's just, oh God. I don't know. It's like, they invented Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, the Hallmark
Oh
essentially
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And it's just a cash grab,
Yeah. That's all it is. No, we don't.
just like engagement rings.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah. Every kiss begins with K. No. every houseboat begins with K.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these motherfuckers are buying their cabin cruisers or whatever they're doing. It's like, so yeah, no, I and listen, I'm not against, see, because people will take it wrong and they'll say, oh, you're anti-capitalism. No, I'm actually I love people making money. I'm against companies kicking other companies down the ladder. That's what I'm against, and stepping on other people.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. I want everybody to succeed, to make. I think everybody can make money. That's kind of. Well, I don't know if you heard the one Drunken Sacred where I kind of got into it with Louis a little bit because I was mentioning greed, corporate greed. And he's like, well, what do you mean by corporate greed? And I said, and which is funny because Louis is a hardcore Christian. I was like, well, don't you know that greed is one of the 7 deadly sins? which I
Oh
used
yeah.
against him. And he's just like, okay, what does that have to do with it? And I was like, come on, dude, and we got into this whole thing. And I was just explaining. I was like, man, everybody should be. We're in America. Anyone can make money if they want to. But the problem is when you got other companies. Case in point, what's going on here now? I'm sure you heard of the Formula One that's going on here in Vegas. The
Oh
race.
no, I haven't. I know
Oh,
about it though.
yeah. So this big race, it's huge, and of
Mhm.
course the casinos are making money, and a bunch of corporate fuckers are making money. But what's going on in the process with this race is they're blocking off a lot of these streets and intersections. So people can't even get into certain businesses. So these businesses are losing money because of this fucking thing.
Oh geez.
So yeah, there's actually a bunch of businesses that are suing now, which I hope they win.
Yeah, me too. Um, it seems like when Formula One comes into town, like I was living in Austin, Texas when that racetrack um was brand new, and then on like the day that they had the first or the weekend that they had the first races, I was working in downtown as a go-go dancer, and it brought in so much business, like just a ridiculous amount of business from people all over the world, a lot of really wealthy people, but
Oh yeah.
it's only helping the businesses that you can get to.
Well, that's it. There's other businesses, their driveways are blocked, nobody can get in. So, and
Yeah.
some of these are like, privately owned because 7-Elevens, people buy them is what they do, and
Hmm.
they're the owner. So that's what's going on. Or Circle K, same thing. So there's a lot of those places that are just they're or even just small mom and pop restaurants that are just getting ass fucked by this thing. So it's kind of good to see some of these businesses are starting to stand up and go, this is taking money out of our pockets, man.
Yeah. I think like I can't really say much about small business other than the fact that I have been a small business owner, but I think more what I really hate is like corporations that advertise tradition and then
Oh,
try to say that like, oh, this is like an old age American tradition. It's like, no, really it came to us in the 50s, and it was you motherfuckers like that, like, man.
popularized it or something.
Exactly. And saying that what is it? Like you should spend a third, whatever it is, a third of your yearly salary on an engagement ring.
Oh, hell no. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
So if you
Yeah.
make $100,000 a year, you should spend $30,000. And it's like, says fucking who? And now that's the norm and now women expect that.
Yeah.
Where if you don't spend a fucking ton of money or get a big enough rock, it's like she's almost like, yeah, I don't really want to marry you, you know?
Right. Or even people around that, like, well, how much did you spend? Like, that's supposed to be important anyway.
Yeah.
And speaking of that and consumerism, so it got to the point. This is why we don't do Christmas presents anymore,
Mm.
because I used to, for a while, I'd be like, okay, I'd tell my brother, okay, I got mom and dad's gifts, whatever. And of course, the first thing my brother would want to know is, well, how much did you spend? And so actually, and I got them good gifts, for pretty cheap. Maybe I spent $80 on both of them or something, but they were nice gifts that they could use.
Hmm.
And he was just like, that's not enough. You got to spend more money than that. And he would give me all kinds of shit. So finally I was like, okay, dude, I'm going to send you to be the gift getting guy. And then I'll just pay you back, my half of it or whatever. We'll just do it that way. So we did it
Hmm.
like that for years. And finally, both my parents have been like, don't buy me anything. And half the stuff we would get, especially the stuff my brother would pick for my parents, they wouldn't use, you know?
Oh,
So it was like, well, what's the point? Why are we doing this?
yeah. And then you have like a whole bunch of appliances just kind of sitting around, filling
Yep.
up your house with stuff that you don't use. And when there's like, I don't know, I feel like I could go on about this stuff forever, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
basically what happened with me and my family that kind of ended this whole gift giving thing was I spent a whole bunch of money on my parents. Like I probably spent, I don't know, like a couple $100. Like I was doing really good with my work life that year.
Right.
And but I didn't really get anything for my siblings. I just thought, get, and we don't have any kids in our family, so it's not like that. But just got something for my parents, and then for everyone else, I got them like, candy and cookies and stuff like that. And everyone was so pissed that I didn't spend as much money on them as I spent on my parents.
Oh, hell
And I
no.
was like, this just makes me like kind of sick to my stomach, and I don't want to be a part of it anymore,
Well, thank God it's always been just me and my brother. We don't, that's it. No other siblings. So,
Mhm.
so it was mainly us spending money on our parents, but he was so into this whole, well, you didn't spend enough. And I'm like, Jesus, how much do I need to spend before I, meet your approval, as it were?
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because, like I said, he would find all these things and he'd say, "Oh, I'm going to get dad this, and I think he could really use this," and he would never use it. I mean, there's so many gifts we got for our dad, or so many gifts we got for our mom that they didn't. And finally, my mom said, "No, guys, no more gifts. Don't buy me anything." So, which I was happy to hear that. So we don't even do that anymore. We're just like, no, it's more about the tradition of actually being together and hanging out and enjoying each other.
Hell yeah. And there's all kinds of like toy drives and stuff like that money could go towards people who really need it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, well, and if you don't have kids, Christmas is kind of bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, okay, well, probably not much, but being that you now live in a van, what will your Christmas be like?
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure, but the last couple years I've spent it with like a friend's family.
Oh, okay.
And so that's really fun. Last year I went to a friend's house and her mom even made me a stocking, and that warmed my heart so
That's
much.
cool. So here it is.
Yeah.
You're not even really blood family per se, but they took the time of, okay, you're going to be with us for Christmas, so we're going to get you some stuff like little shit, nothing major.
Yeah, we just bought presents for the baby. There was only one kid in the family, and so we just rained gifts on the baby, and then everyone got a stocking, so we all gave stocking stuffers to each other, and I thought that was great.
Oh, cool. Cool. I know we're doing this Secret Santa thing at work. They've decided to do that. So that should be interesting.
Oh yeah, do you do that every year?
No, this is a first because this is our first year in this building. And prior to that, we were in another building. It wasn't even a state building. It was a like just private, there was a lot of real estate agents in there that had offices, there were attorneys, there were just different, business realtors, that type of thing that were in there. So we just happened to they put us in there at the time. But now we're in this complex and there's several people. So we this is like the first year we've actually, because I told you about the potluck that they want to do,
Mhm.
and they're really into that. So and like I said, they work for different agencies that are in that building. So, but yeah, they were like, let's do a Secret Santa thing, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So it's a new thing for me to get used to.
Yeah, you should just do gag gifts.
That's what I'm going to do. That's totally
Good.
what I'm going to do. Like the toilet seat light or whatever the hell it was.
I
Yeah,
knew it because I know you.
yeah. Gag gifts are always a safe bet. you know, One time I did this. It was a white elephant gift thing. It was at a networking event that I went to,
Mm.
and so I think the cutoff was like $5 or $10 or something like that. That's what they wanted us to spend. So, and yes, of course, I did get some kind of. I think that's when I got the toilet light or something, whatever it was. Anyway, somebody brought a goldfish, an actual living goldfish, as a gift.
Oh my God.
So I forget who was the lucky bastard to get it, but anyway, that was a strange gift to be bringing to that.
Oh, that's so great. I'm sure it was all wrapped up too. So you're just like,
Yeah, you have no
oh,
idea
there's a
what,
live animal in here.
right? Or you think it might be like a cake or something, like the way it looks.
Right. I think I'd be pretty excited about a goldfish. Maybe not in the van. I don't know how well it
I
would
was gonna
do in
say, yeah, I
here,
don't know where
but
you keep a goldfish in a van.
the water would get everywhere. He'd probably like, he'd probably escape
Probably so.
and not last too long. But
Yeah, I was gonna say he'd be dead pretty fast, I think.
yeah, that reminds me. So here's a truck driving story. It's probably my best story.
Okay.
Um, when I was first starting out, and I was a really, I mean, shit, I didn't have a whole lot of training, so I was a pretty bad truck driver. And I got a load for PetSmart, and it was all fish. It was live fish.
Oh God.
So I had a 53-foot trailer full of like betas and goldfish and stuff like that. Um, and I love animals. I was a vegetarian for a long time, and I was just like almost talking to him back there, like, it's gonna be okay, little guys. Like, I'll get you to your destination safely.
Okay.
And so I had to go, gosh, it was like from Arizona all the way to Chicago. And I was at like my first drop off point, and I had to wake up at 6 in the morning to deliver the fish. I was so fucking tired. And I ended up, I was doing like temperature controlled trailer. So it had to be set, the temperature had to be set at like 68 degrees.
Mm.
Any more, any less, like the fish could die.
Ah, okay.
So it's like if your trailer breaks, the fish could die. I just kept this going through my head this whole time, like, oh my God, kind of stressing me out. I
Right.
end up, I'm so tired, I end up hitting another trailer with my trailer and knocking one of the trailer doors off.
Oh shit.
And it's like January in Chicago.
Oh no. So they all froze?
It's like 30 degrees outside. So I was freaking out. And what happened was the guy that I was dropping off at was able to take all of the fish off of my trailer so that in like a temperature controlled environment. And I had to drive clear across the fucking city in rush hour traffic to take my trailer to a repair shop and get a new one and bring it back.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh my God, to have all those dead fish on your hands, like I probably would have been haunted by fish for the rest of my life. Fucking ghost fish.
Those fish. And they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Lace, you all I wanted was to get there safely, and you couldn't be bothered to make sure
but
of that.
but it's just like glub 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 glub. Man. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was like I would say my whole first 6 months when I was a truck driver. I was such a bad driver. I'm so lucky that like that was kind of like the worst of what happened, it was just like bumping things and scratching up things, but
how,
I was
how did
fine
you
after
even
that.
how'd you even get into that kind of business? Like, I don't know.
Mm,
It just seems wow.
yeah, like it never used to be big for women to get into it, but when it was maybe like 3 or 4% of women made up the workforce, and now it's more like 6. So it's gaining in popularity. But it was just like my friend had was getting into it, and I had been delivering food for years. I was like a pizza delivery driver for
Oh,
like
okay.
most of my adult life, other than, I had worked in offices and other crap, but that was always what I went back to, and I loved it. And so I
Huh.
was kind of thinking like, well, why don't I just like deliver, more pizzas farther distances for more money? That
Okay.
was that was pretty much my thinking on that. And I wasn't imagining that it would turn into like me owning my own trucking company or anything. I was mostly just like, oh, I just, want to make a good living, whatever. And
That's
I
what's
ended up getting
okay.
into the market at one of the best, at like the best freight market economy, and ended up killing it.
It's just kind of weird because, and I'm not even thinking about you being a female doing it necessarily, but it just doesn't seem like it would be an interest of yours. I don't know. It just, from what I'm seeing at least, doesn't seem like, you would have been like, hey, you know what? I want to get into the trucking business.
Yeah, it's weird. It's funny because like me selling photos and videos of like my body or whatever is just something that I actually love doing, but like I'm kind of a blue collar worker at heart.
That's kind of cool.
I,
Well,
I love
that,
getting my hands dirty.
well, I mean, doing those videos get your hands dirty too.
It kind of does. I mean, it's just in a different way, right?
Right.
I get camera dust all over my hands now.
Well, no, I mean, even, I mean, like, well, the blowjob video.
Oh,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just other shit too, nicotine and ashtrays and all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
plus,
It's funny, like everyone sort of uses their body for work, right? So it's all
Oh
kind of
yeah.
the same shit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's well, it depends. I mean, if you're an office person, it's there's not really too much
You
you
can get
know,
carpal tunnel.
true, or even or even if you're sitting, you're sitting at a computer for long periods of time or something like that, your back, I know my mom was talking to me about she has a stand-up desk now because I
Mhm.
guess sitting at computers for long periods of time was causing back issues for her.
Mm.
So, I mean, so yeah, I guess you do have certain stuff, but I'm pretty sure you get dirtier than a lot of them do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's jobs that are, like my dad always told me when I was growing up, is you want to get a job where you use your brain, not your hands. And I can see why he said that, but we're all not suited to like be in, IT or to have some sort of upper level,
Oh,
white collar job. But but I know what he meant by that. And I feel like right now with the modeling, I'm doing kind of a combination of both.
yeah.
So that's my happy zone.
Well, there you go. And you are using your brain because when you're like,
Yes.
okay, the lighting, should we do this? What's going to make it look better? What's going to make it sound better? Well, especially when when you're doing these customs and the editing, that takes some brains for sure.
Yeah, well, and you have to be so imaginative, and I guess in that way, I guess I'm sort of like an artist or something. I would never go around saying that I'm an artist, but I do use my creative part of the brain more than anything. And I think people would feel sorry for me if they knew just how long it takes for me to set up my studio.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Well,
in a minivan and like oh my God, it's insane. Like my backdrop, I have like a black backdrop and sort of like a shiny blue one, and
uh,
it goes up. I hang it from the ceiling right behind my driver's seats, the front seats.
right,
And
right.
then I've got to make sure that my dog is in the front so she's not exposed to the smoke.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then I have to set up my lights and my camera like a certain way, and I just got a brand new camera and tablet. So now I'm trying to figure out how to maximize the settings on those to get the look that I'm going for. And it can take me 3 to 4 hours just to set up my setting. But that's
Damn.
also with costume and makeup.
Wow. That's right. Yeah, because you do have this, and some of these videos are short, you know, like some of the ones you put on OnlyFans.
Yeah, so I tend to do like 30 seconds to 2 minute clips on OnlyFans.
Right.
Um, the customs that I make for people are usually like 7 to 10 minutes. I don't think I've ever done one longer than 10, except for you, because sometimes I'll be having so much fun that I'm like, Max, you get a 14-minute custom.
Hey,
Sorry, like I'm sure you'll love it.
I'm not going to complain about that. I'm down for it.
I
You
get
know
really
that,
carried away, and I'm just like, I can't edit any of this out. It's also good.
right? I was blown away when you told me you write scripts for these.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you've actually sat down and wrote a script. Like, I didn't realize that was. I thought you were just improvising.
Turns out I'm not a very good improv. I need to go take classes like Cruz, I guess. But
See, if you're
I'll
ever in
be.
Oregon, you should drop by one of his classes that
Oh,
he
I should.
teaches.
I should surprise him.
Oh, that would be awesome. If
He'd
you're
love
in
that.
if you're in Eugene, if you ever pop by one of his, that would be cool.
Oh man,
And
that'd be funny.
I think they have a meetup too. I think that's what he was saying too. They have a little meetup. You might just want to look on Meetup and look for improv groups in Eugene. Actually,
I'll
we better
do
be
it
careful because
too.
he's probably going to listen to this.
He's gonna be like, "Why are you telling her that, Max?"
Oh, I don't think he'd care. He'd be down for it. I think. I think he'd
You
think it
think
was
he'd want
funny.
to meet me in person?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of cool. Hey, he'd get to meet you in person before me. God damn.
No, I know that wouldn't be right. But yeah, I write scripts. Like sometimes I'll be going down the road and I'll do like a voice recording. I do my best thinking when I'm driving, and
Okay.
yeah, and I'll just be like, okay, and now I'm gonna tell Max this, and then this will happen, and I'll be like, oh no, 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 wait, like then this happens, and then I'll listen to it later, and I'm just like, wow, I'm a crazy person because like a like a
So you're
20
just
minute
doing little
long voice
like
recording.
audio notes or something, just like audio notes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Like I'll hit the pause button and then say something else. And
That's dope.
yeah, it works out.
That's
I've got nothing else to do when I'm driving other than like listen to podcasts and music. I might as well get some work done.
right, right. Be productive.
Yeah.
That going. Wow. You know, we went 2 hours.
Has it been 2 hours?
It
Oh
is
yeah,
all.
it's
Yep.
9.
Look at that. See,
Even what?
I was gonna say, see, Jeff's a boring fucker.
You and I just have like a dynamic where like we can talk for hours,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just get
and then
well,
you guys have that dynamic.
we do because we're. I mean, well, we've been friends since preschool, so
Yes.
I mean, we go way back. But that's what makes us a good any kind of relationship. Like I can't stand those people that call you and don't have shit to say, and it's like a chore to talk to them.
Oh my God, I know.
That's some painful. Oh, here's a term for you. Two terms that you can start using if you like.
Okay.
So when somebody does this, when they call you, but they have nothing to really say, it's called dimple caking. These are my terms, by the way.
Interesting.
So, because it kind of reminds me of what couples will do, like that obligatory conversation that they're not talking about shit. So I could see this couple calling his significant other dimple cakes. So that's where I got the term dimple caking. So
Oh my God.
if somebody just calls you up and they're like, so what's up? Not much. What's up? And they're just talking about, well, so what'd you have for dinner? Just that's dimple caking. But
Yeah.
here's another one for you. Dimplusticating, which is when somebody calls you, but they're not paying attention to you. They're having like a conversation or they're doing something else while talking to you, while on the phone with
Oh my God.
you.
I think you and I have the same gripes because I'm big on communication and I can't stand it when someone's like not paying attention or doesn't have anything interesting to say. I'm right there with you.
Yes. Well, I had this one friend who used to call me and he'd be watching TV or something. So I'd say something to him and he wouldn't respond. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to, and then he'd give me a half like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, dude, I asked you something, you know, and or either that or he would like zone out and I'd say, hey man, so how was work? And then all of a sudden he'd just bust out laughing at something. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? Oh, I'm watching Frasier right now, man. It's fucking great, man. And then he starts telling you about what he saw on Frasier. That's another fucking annoying thing. When somebody tells you about what they saw on TV and they expect you to think it's as funny as they did when they saw
Yeah.
it.
I think there was like an SNL bit forever ago where it was like a discount theater where it's super cheap, but it's just people telling you what happened and acting it out in the movie.
That's funny as shit.
Uh, and
Because I
then
know
so the main character goes, yeah,
that's
so bad.
well, that's like this guy I went to school with. He was originally from Texarkana, so he had a real thick accent. And he'd tell me, he's like, man, let me tell you what I saw on TV today, right? So this guy got up there, okay? And that's how he'd start his story every time of something he saw on TV. This guy got up there, okay? So I'm thinking like up there, okay? Is that like some kind of like dental disease or something? But yeah, he was crazy about that. Like every time I'd see him at school, hey man, I got to tell you what I saw on TV this morning. So this guy got up there, okay, and he was walking in the room, and all of a sudden his chick comes out and she puts her tits in his face, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, really?
That reminds me of the guy from Office Space, his neighbor,
Oh, oh,
where he's got kind of the same accent. He's just like, you know what I'd do with $1 million, man? Two chicks at the same time. That guy's like one of my favorite characters of all time.
yeah, that's that's funny. That's how he was too. I mean, like, a real cool guy. I still talk to him from time to time. But yeah, that boy when he would tell his stories of what he saw on TV, or the other Jeff that I know, not the one you know, but the other guy, he was big on that too. Like giving you oh, you know who else was bad with that was my old assistant Sharon. But
Oh, really?
yeah, but hers wasn't comedy stuff. It was more like murder shows she would tell you about. And this happened, and this happened. And then all of a sudden they found out that, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
Literally no one cares.
yes, exactly. Like, you don't need to give me this blow by blow of what happened in this fucking show I didn't see.
I know. I had I was just recently dating this one guy when I was quite a bit younger and too shy to walk away from a conversation. Um
Oh,
and his mom, we were hanging out having some family reunion or whatever, and his mom tells me the entire plot line of Mystic River, which is like a 3.5 hour movie.
oh no.
I must have been sitting there for like 40 minutes.
That's an ice pick under each toenail, and you just can't walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I'd just be like, that's really nice. I'm gonna see you later. You know?
Yeah, but you're right. It's hard to get out of those because what do you
It
say?
is.
I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, that was even my old assistant, she was that way. And when we had events where there wasn't much going on and we were just sitting at the table, she'd launch into this whole, you know, whatever it was she saw. She liked a lot of these true crime, which, is cool stuff if you were watching it yourself. But when she's telling you everything that's going on, you're just like, oh, no.
Yes. Usually what I do is I'm like, oh, have you seen the new movie that came out? No? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Come
Or if
back
you
to me if you go see it, then we'll talk, you know?
right. Or I might just give them a brief synopsis of the plot, to maybe whet their appetite to see if they'd like to see it
Right.
and kind of go from there and be like, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's about this, this, this. And then, if they want to watch it, they can. And then they can come back to you later and be like, oh, yeah, man, that was pretty cool, or whatever.
Yeah. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at giving a plot synopsis without any spoilers, but
Right.
just enough to get somebody interested, but not ruin the story. Yeah.
Right. Just a few seconds, just to kind of give them the basic idea of what's going on, but not tell the whole story.
Yeah. But on phone calls, I really like it's like we're gonna have a conversation and it's gonna be like really thoughtful and we're gonna really consider, each other's words, and then we're gonna get off the phone.
Right.
And if it gets to the point where either of us is bored, we're just gonna get off the phone.
Right.
Period.
Right. Or just
Like there's no like playing video games or like watching TV, or I don't just like go on the phone just to like hang out in silence with somebody.
that's
Kind of
horrible.
weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that. Or you'll hear people, they're on speaker with somebody and all you hear is all this background sound. And you're just like, what's the point of having this phone call?
Right.
So,
I've got this friend, she's one of my best friends, but it's like she doesn't like to text, but she's just like you described on the phone, where
oh,
she's like always has a million people in her house and she's just like walking around getting distracted and there's all this background noise because I'm on speaker. So it's like I can't talk to her on the phone. So we can only, and we live like 2,000 miles apart. So we can only have real conversations when we're in person. So like I have
oh,
no idea what's happening in her life because
because she never gets to tell you.
yeah. So I've got to go visit her this winter maybe and just see what the fuck she's been up to for the last year.
Right. Exactly. Well, either that or you get somebody who just rambles on about themselves or what's going on with them. And it's too much sometimes. It's like, okay. I have a friend like that too.
Yeah, like Cruz was bitching about his family too.
Oh, not like that, but this person just goes on and on and on about it's a woman, basically.
Mm,
And I could tell you off the air who it is because they might
okay.
listen. But yeah, no, that she'll just go on and on and on about this. And like lately she was seeing this guy and and she would get real detailed about their sex too. I don't fucking know why. I'm like, what are you trying to make me jealous? Because it ain't working. Well, I always wondered about her because we've known each other for about 12 years or so.
Mm.
And people even used to say to me, I think she likes you. I think she likes you. And finally, like I said, she did this thing recently where she said she met it's a guy she went to high school with and they reconnected, but he's still married. And then they broke up or whatever. The guy's separated from the wife now. And so he's going to be working out here a lot. And so anyway, she said something one day I think it was in a text message about, oh yeah, you know, his fingertip imprints are still on my waist, and I'm like, who
Whoa.
fucking cares, right?
Well, it's not like that's like girl talk, right? If
Yeah,
like kiss and tell type stuff, but like why is she telling you unless there's some sort of hidden motive?
right. Like I wouldn't tell her about sex I'm having with other women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder how she would take that.
Exactly. Well, one time I said, "Hey, you," because I've told her that I get customs from you and everything, and I was like, "Hey, one time you should check out one of these customs." I think that's when she was doing her thing, telling me about the guy. I was like, "Hey, you need to come back to my house one time. I'll let you hear one of the customs she did." And she's like, "No, that's okay."
Oh, but I can hear all about your fucking
Right.
wild ass sex life.
Yeah, when he did this, and she was riding him, and he's just, when he drinks he stays hard for long, and I'm just like, I don't fucking care.
But I don't care who it is, like any friend of mine. If you're a friend, you've been friend zoned, we're totally okay with being friends. I don't want to hear about your sex life, like in wild detail.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just like not because
Well,
it,
even
it makes me kind of uncomfortable.
even another dude, that's telling you, going into graphic detail about a chick, you're just kind of like, bro, I'm a grown man, dude. You don't have to like, it doesn't impress me.
Yeah, word. Um, what was I gonna? Oh yeah, I've been thinking about this for a hot minute. Have you ever shown any of your customs to anyone else that I've made for you?
Nope.
Okay.
I have not. I've joked about it, but I've never actually done it. Like
Yeah.
I said, with my friend. Oh, fuck it, I'll just tell you, it was my friend Loon.
Did she listen?
No, 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 no. I remember I said, because she kept wanting to tell me about this guy, and then I said, well, do you ever want to come back to the house and here's some customs that my friend from OnlyFans made for me? She's like, no, that's okay. And I'm
Oh, I
like,
meant, does she listen to the podcast?
oh, I don't know. She's I don't think she does. I'd be very shocked if she did,
Uh,
because she's never commented on anything that we've talked about. I know back in the
mm.
days when I did the Shit That Irks Me shows, she came on, came in live a couple times to them.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't think she does. I don't think she listens to the pod. There's so much other shit that she's enamored with, like stuff on
Mm.
TikTok and other videos. But yeah, no. But I've never let anybody hear your customs. Should I?
Um, I mean, they'd probably be like, "Wow, you're into this stuff, Max?"
Probably. They probably just think I'm weird. Like, well, like I said, cruise control. He straight up told me, he goes, the only time I get uncomfortable is when you guys start talking about the customs and getting into them. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I think, because he said he might be out here for Christmas, so if he's at my house ever, I might make a joke and be like, hey, dude, you want to listen to one of Lace's customs?
Yeah. So, okay, so here's the thing. Um, I really should just start sending you audio clips because when I'm recording, I don't even usually like put the camera on my face.
Ah,
Sometimes I just kind of set it on the bed.
okay. So somebody watching isn't going to see much.
They're gonna be like, what the hell's going on here? You can see some very unflattering photos of me or video of me on your customs for sure.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, because I wonder, like, if a sighted person watched one of those, what they would see.
Oh yeah. They'd be like, okay, they were obviously just using the phone for their microphone, but the video was rolling. And so there's a lot of like, if you actually watch it, it'll probably make you dizzy because I'm, bringing the phone with me all around my van and like to get certain sounds and stuff.
Right, right.
Oh,
Well,
and like when I'm doing ones where I'm simulating like getting fucked and I'm
yeah.
like rocking back on the bed. And sometimes I'm actually masturbating. Like I would say like 90% of the time I'm
I
like
was gonna say,
actually
I know you're
turned
actually
on and
masturbating.
masturbating. Yeah.
Right.
But there's sometimes where I need to like get the sound effect of the bed creaking.
Oh
And
yeah,
so the phone is just like getting jostled around and like almost falling off the bed.
yeah. Because the bed's moving up and down, and the phone's bouncing.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you did masturbate in a bunch of them, for real.
I would
I
say there's only been one where I no, I've mass every single one where I had an orgasm.
right, right.
It's a real orgasm, but there's been a couple like this last one where I was like getting fucked by
All
the
holes are full.
roommate Holly slash Melody, the little ex-Mormon girl, getting
Yeah,
fucked by her, and then like being
by the
forced to
mistress.
chain smoke and sucking the mistress's dick. Uh, and it was like I didn't because I didn't orgasm in that one. I wasn't actually like masturbating,
Right.
but yeah, that's one of the few where I don't.
Well, I know there's been a few like the no Uber drivers were harmed in the making of this video. There was
Yeah.
definitely, master. There was, you came in that one for sure. I can
Oh
tell when
yeah.
you come.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell when you came for sure.
It's almost like a little not the sexiest. Like if you've ever watched someone pretend to have an orgasm like a porn star, they're like,
Oh,
"Oh, oh." I like shout.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm like yelling, screaming.
Like, well, you do the grunt thing where you're just like, "Ah, like you're really getting into it. Pretty, it's pretty hot. Yeah, I can definitely tell. And it's like I said, the grunting thing that you do. I think it's so hot.
It makes me sound really masculine, but yeah, I guess that's
I think it's
it is
hot.
kind of it,
It's like
it's
you're
very
working.
real.
Yeah. It sounded masculine coming out of me because I'm a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
it's just yeah, it's just proof that like I do have a smoking fetish, because and it's funny because it's kind of one that I got from like watching men smoke in movies when I was young, but the
Oh,
actual me smoking and getting turned on by me smoking or watching, you know, other smoking fetishes smoke, that is something that developed from doing this kind of work.
that's interesting. So you didn't realize it was something that it was an uncharted territory until you got into it.
Right, yeah. So when I first started making videos in 2012, I started incorporating smoking into my sex life with whatever partner I was with. And I think there were like two or three at the time. And so I would like smoke in their bed. Sometimes they would smoke with me. I was like, wow, this is so fucking hot. But I didn't realize that me like just masturbating and smoking would turn me on until I started doing this like 6 months ago. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm gonna do
Wow.
this like all the time.
So it didn't realize it was a turn on for you. Well, that's like the mutual carcinogenation, whatever that you did.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so hot when two people have the nicotine addiction and they're both smoking together or something like that, or they both need a cigarette. That's another idea for a custom I'm thinking about, by the way.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna make you smoke one of these times.
I would, you know what? I would do it. I would
Yeah.
totally do it. Yeah, I would. No, I don't have any aversion to doing it at all. I just don't. I wouldn't do it habitually, but I would totally do it. I would totally smoke.
Oh, I don't mean in real life. I wouldn't like get you hooked on cigarettes or anything, but I
Oh, I don't
just mean
think you
like in
could.
the custom. Oh,
Oh,
that's good.
oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean, even if like I don't know, if we are hanging out or something, and you gave me I would smoke it. Matter of fact, when my buddy Ray was here, we got cigars and we smoked them on my balcony, and I thought, damn, you know what? I thought about videoing it just for you because you'd
Oh,
actually
yeah.
didn't even think about it.
Next time you do that, please send me a video. That is so sexy. I love cigars.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. We got the big ones too. It's not like, the black and milds or some whack shit like that. These were like Cohibas or something.
Real
So
cigars.
yeah,
Yeah.
real cigars that actually took a long time to smoke.
Did you smoke the whole thing?
I did. Actually, I smoked mine before he smoked his. I got down to my
Oh,
shit
dang.
and he was like, damn, you smoked that shit fast.
Do you inhale it all?
I do actually. I do. I will inhale it. So
That's cool. I inhale cigars a little bit. I don't go too crazy, but I'd say like maybe one out of every four puffs I'll inhale.
you said that in one of your videos, I think. You said, yeah, I like to inhale it because I know you're not supposed to, but it tastes so good or whatever you said.
Yeah, well, and it's like if I'm smoking a cigar, it's pissing me off because I'm not getting all the nicotine that I would expect from a cigarette.
Ah, so
So
you're
it's
getting
like I
less.
gotta inhale, like, so I'm getting my fix.
Ah, that's
But you're
interesting.
kind of not supposed to. Like, if you're like, I think you're like a real serious cigar person might say you're not supposed to, but I'm
Yeah,
also not like a real serious anything. So
right.
I
It's
don't
just
like
like,
being told what to do.
yeah, I do what I want to do, what feels good to me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's the main. But yeah, no, I yeah, if in one of the custom, that would be hot. Like if I'm a smoker in the custom, or oh, I'll think about something.
Or how would you feel about if I sort of like derided you for your lozenge habit and I was just like, put
Ah,
away those goofy lozenges, smoke a real cigarette like a real man or something.
oh, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, okay, you
Yeah.
can fuck with me about that, about the lozenges. Which, by the way, my Zins finally did come today. I
Oh,
think,
good.
yeah, they were. And when UPS delivers them, you have to be here, and an adult has to be here to sign for them. So obviously, I had to be home.
Oh,
So,
because they're age restricted.
yep, that's what it
That
is.
makes sense. Okay.
So it's not like Amazon, where they just kind of drop it on your front porch, and it's like it's there. I guess an adult has to be there to sign for this thing. So that's what I was doing.
You know what? That's so interesting because I'm almost positive that my cigarette order just got dropped off at the place where I get mail. And they just they sent me a photo in my email saying, "Hey, we dropped it off," but no one had to sign for it.
Huh. I wonder if it's because I'm guessing it's like a PO box type place, right?
No, it's my friend's house. But the thing is, it's not UPS. It came from some international freight company that I've never even heard of. So they
Huh.
must just like not have that rule.
That's
I think
well,
I might go over there tonight. It's from Siggy's World, which
huh.
is I think they're based in like Thailand, and they don't have any rules over there about flavored cigarettes. So you can
Oh.
order literally whatever you want. I remember you were saying a long time ago about chocolate cigarettes. They have
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Cockatiel smokes those. Yep, yep.
You have to order them from Thailand, but they're cheap. I think I only paid like $4 or $5 a pack.
Oh wow. I
You
I
want to
wonder
know
if
what I got?
yeah, what's the flavor that you got?
Let me see. I got like a
Oh,
couple different packs. I'll have to search for them. Searching my email right now.
okay,
I
so you're
got,
looking.
yeah, I got some vanilla ones. Um, and then I got some cappuccino
Oh.
garum cloves. And they're the real cigarettes. They're not the cigar kind. They're the actual cigarette.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then I got Jamaican coffee flavored,
Damn.
vanilla flavored, and then I got Marlboro Vista Tropical Burst, which are like supposed to be fruity.
So these are interesting. So their flavor, I bet you're going to get because now Cockatiel won't smoke just regular cigarettes. It's like they always have to be these flavored cigarettes now.
Yeah, I wonder if she has to buy them online or what.
I think she buys them. I'll ask her again because I remember we were texting about it and I forgot what she told me. But I think she buys them at a smoke shop.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know that maybe in your state you do things a little differently, but I
Well,
know
she
in
lives
most
in Oregon.
states.
She's
Oh,
she's in Bend, Oregon. So
no shit. Well, I gotta,
you might.
figure out what her smoke shop is and
Right.
see.
Well, you know what? Actually, let me text. I'll have to text her and see what she says. Because she did tell me at one point, and I forget, but yeah, she used to live out here. That's when her and I used to we dated long, long, long time ago. But
Mhm.
and I want to say she started getting them out here at some place, and then when she moved to Oregon, I don't know what she's doing because she's not really an online person. She's she goes in stores usually and buys her shit.
Okay. I know that there's like a nationwide ban on flavors, I think, and then some states have decided not to even carry menthol, which is depressing for me.
I've seen that. Yeah, yeah. And
I think
it's
California doesn't have menthol.
oh wow. At all,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
That's
all I
crazy.
smoke.
So like somebody told me one time if they stop making menthols, period, that she would quit smoking. So,
Yeah, I can see that because regulars are just not it for
huh.
me anyway.
So all your cigarettes have to have menthol in some way, shape, or form.
Like I'll smoke fucking regular cigarettes if it's
If you
all that's
have to.
around. You want to hear what happened though? I don't even think I've told anybody this before. So there was this guy. Do you remember me saying a long time ago I was gonna go to California with some guy?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was wondering about that because it never happened, right?
Yeah, I bought a whole carton of Marlboro Black 100s regulars because he hates menthol.
Okay.
And I was thinking, yeah, this guy and me are gonna like travel all around California. It's gonna be so much fun. And he left me high and dry. He just like we got into like a little bit of a fight, and he's like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. So I was stuck with an entire fucking carton of regulars,
Oh,
and I was like pissed on so many levels. And so I just had this carton lying around that like basically I finished them like 3 weeks ago, finally, but it took me forever because it was like whenever I would run out of menthols, that I would just be like, I guess I'll smoke one of
it was
those,
your spare, right? Your go-to pack.
Totally. But it was like fucking 200 cigarettes. It
Damn.
did last me a couple months. Yeah.
So you bought them for him, and then he kind of dissed you. I'm surprised he didn't take his cigarettes on the way out.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was crappy. He was supposed to fly in. Well, he did fly into the airport, but he was like, and I was like waiting up there for him by kind of by the airport. He's like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. So I was like, well, what the fuck am I doing here then with this fucking, carton of
Right.
cigarettes that I don't even want?
So, I mean, do you mind if I ask what pissed him off?
Let's see. It was he doesn't, ugh, it's so dumb. So like, have you ever heard of it's something like authority aversion disorder or something like that? It's like an actual mental illness where if he thinks that someone is like telling him what to do, he gets like
Oh,
really angry. It's like very triggering.
that's
And
weird.
so like I'm a very caring, nurturing person when it's
So,
somebody who's my friend. And
right.
so like you kind of have picked that up from me, I'm sure. Like if there's something bad going on in your
Oh,
life, I just want to make sure you're okay.
no doubt. I mean, even like, I've talked to you a few times about a few certain situations that are going on with me, and you were very good at being a just an ear and offering some cool advice, that would help me.
Yeah, and when I would offer him advice, like I've offered you advice, and he took that as me telling him what to do.
Damn, he sounds like a real
And
snowflake.
it's weird. Yeah, it's like I really want to accept people who have mental illness, and like I want to still be their friend and like get past it, and but some people don't make it very easy. So
That's
that's pretty much what happened with that.
that's the problem though, when it starts to impact other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing, okay, maybe you're agoraphobic. You don't like going out, into big crowds or whatever. All right, we can work around that. That's cool. But
Mhm.
like this, I mean, that's something so trivial. You're telling me what to do. All I'm doing is saying maybe you should try, like, damn, it ain't that serious.
Yeah. So it yeah, and he doesn't have a whole lot of friends left, is kind of what I've
Oh,
gleaned from him telling me about his life.
wonder
So
why.
I know. So that's one of the reasons why I went up to Alaska, because I was just like, well, fuck this. What am I doing here? And so
Right.
I just kind of took a 2,600-mile road trip up to Alaska.
Yeah, you had your little adventure up there for a little bit, and you came back to the Pacific Northwest there.
Yeah. So I kind of came back in a hurry because I really didn't have very good cell reception in all of Canada.
Yeah, I remember you
And
saying.
unless you get a Canadian phone, you're kind of shit out of luck. I had like 2 gigs that I could use every day,
Yeah.
and I would send somebody a custom, and that would take most of that, space. So I just hustled my way back down across the border, and yeah, I've been there ever since, just kind of like seeing what's good.
Okay, well, if that's working for you, if where you're at.
Yeah, it's good so far, until it gets real, real cold, and then that's basically why I had to leave Alaska. I would have stayed up there a little longer, but it got like right now it's like 5 degrees
Oh God, and you're sleeping in a
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
van.
Yeah, exactly. So I got out before the first snow. Once it starts snowing, it doesn't really stop.
Oh yeah, yeah. God damn. That's yeah, that snow is well, see, and I'm from a place where obviously it doesn't snow, so I would think it would be a treat, but that's just the same people that think, oh, it must be great to live out there in Vegas. It's always warm and not when it's 100 and fucking 20 degrees, which by the way, as of Tuesday, I think it's gonna cool down to like the 60s during the day, which I can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the real fall in Vegas.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas in June because there's a big convention that happens there that I would go to, every year. And it was miserable. Like, why do you have this in June in the desert?
That's they do a lot of shit. Like what's that other thing they do? The Electric Daisy Carnival or whatever. That's like right
Yeah.
around that time too.
Yeah, and I think most of that starts popping off at night. Or
Yeah,
I wonder if they play music during the day.
I don't know. I've never been to, but I think you're right. I think it's usually at night because I've seen, people on Facebook. Oh yeah, man, I'm at EDC right now, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing there? Like, it
That's
doesn't even sound fun to me. I don't know. Just that's just me.
that's like bucket list for me is going to EDC. But they have them all over now. There's like one in Mexico, and
Huh,
I'm not even like a raver or anything. It just
right.
looks like so much fun. All
I
of
don't know.
the art installations that they do with all the neon lights, and it's just beautiful.
See, that's the visuals though. Like see, for someone like me, it would be pointless, you know?
Yeah, you'd have to really love the music.
Right. Which I some of it's okay. I prefer the trance music is kind of cool, but as far as that house music, I call it video game music. That's what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like something. Matter of fact, I remember going to someone's house one day and I was like, "Hey man, what are you doing? Playing a video game in there?" It's like, "Nah, man, I'm playing some techno." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sounds like a video game to me."
It sounds like laser blasts, and yeah.
Yeah, just like like, oh, what are you about to do? Go into battle?
Oh man, Mega Man.
Pretty much battle of the
Yeah,
evil, whatever.
yes. It's not really my favorite, but I do love dancing,
Oh,
and I love being in a crowd where everyone's like really, really pumped up. Like I just love that energy.
okay.
But I get the same thing from going to like a punk show or something.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're digging the music, that's the thing. You gotta like the
Yeah,
music. If the,
definitely.
the music sucks, then it's what's the point of being there? Like, oh, this is okay. This is pretty lame.
Yeah, I think at EDC they have like a ton of stages, so if you don't like something, just keep it moving and
Try
go
something
on to the
else.
next one. Yeah. And I'm
That's
sure like whenever I see those flyers though, it's like all these names that I've of course never heard of before. Like
oh,
DJ T Rock or whatever. And
I'm like, who's
it's
this
like
asshole?
I'd have to do so much fucking research going into it to know like
Yeah,
what I like because I think I might like drum and bass, but like not jungle or house or whatever.
right. See, and that's one form of music I don't really roll with. I know I told you I have a pretty open palette when it comes to music, but some stuff just doesn't grab me. Another thing I don't like is that reggaeton shit. That's garbage too. With a
Uh, like reggae based.
I like reggae, but
Mhm.
reggaeton is like it's almost like hip hop, dance hall reggae. Those beats are always like boom, 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 and it's just like, oh, this is garbage. Like, how do you fuckers like this shit?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I like reggae too. I like old school reggae. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, like Black Uhuru or one of those groups.
I'm
Or,
trying to remember. Oh gosh, yeah, of course I can't remember now. But and then like some ska, like the specials.
yeah, that has some reggae. Well, I mean, like, Sublime was probably a bad, but you know what I'm saying? Like something. A lot of these, even there were some '80s ska bands too. You know.
Yeah, I think the specials were got their start in like the 70s, and they like had, members who were I don't want to get this wrong, but like ska came out of reggae when white people started doing
White people like
it.
reggae.
I think there were there were like all kinds of people sort of like doing reggae and ska at the same time, like once it came to like New York and shit.
Right. Yeah. Kind of it was becoming a melting pot, sort of,
Yeah.
for that kind of thing. And like I said, I like reggae. Reggae music is great, but man, some of this, like I said, the the reggaeton, as they call it, that's a fairly new form of music, but and you'd know it if you heard it. It's garbage.
Okay.
It's crap. It's the same beat. What you just heard me do is what they're all that stuff sounds like. Like it all sounds the same to me.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you think about some of this like mumble rap and shit?
Oh, that's garbage too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like a lot of the new. I mean, every once in a while I'll find a group that I like, or an artist that I like. But yeah, the mumble rap stuff, and they're just making sounds. They're just, when I went to that bitch, I said, and she said, no. And you're just like, what are you fucking, yeah, this is some, or as Cruise Control calls it, bleep bloop music.
Bleep bloop.
So,
Someone was like, they told me that there was a hip hop artist that changed their life, and they have this big tattoo of a portrait of them. They're like, "You're never, oh man, I gotta play some music for you. This just, it just hits me right in the heart." And I was like, "Okay," and it was like Lil Wayne,
oh God.
and but then the first song they played was like, "Oh, I was in the club with the honeys and I slapped that hoe or whatever," and I was like,
Right.
"This is music that changed your life? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Like somebody's, yeah, that's they think they're a deep thinker, I guess.
You
It's hit.
know, and that's not the first person who's told me that Lil Wayne like changed their life. So there must be songs that are thought provoking that I just have not heard. So I don't want to like come out against him, but
Ah, okay, now there's been a few songs that because my friend knows that I hate Lil Wayne, and he was playing something for me one time, and I was like, "Hey, who's this?" And he was like, "Lil Wayne song," and the lyrics were pretty good, but it wasn't anything that was introspective. It was just that what he was saying was kind of witty, and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, I guess I can dig that a little bit," but by and large, it's not somebody that I would listen to.
yeah, maybe it's just like his like energy, like if he's like really positive, maybe that wears off on people in a good way or something.
Maybe. I know
But
he used to be part of that. They call it the Cash Money Click or whatever,
oh yeah.
like Cash Money Records or whatever. BG was on that label. Well, probably guys you would you wouldn't recognize, but the guy who did Back That Ass Up, Juvenile,
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
on that label too. So
Oh,
but
okay.
I never was crazy about them. I was going, yeah, they don't really, that stuff doesn't grab me. So
Yeah, I met Lil Yachty. He,
I've heard
you know
that
him?
name. Yes, I know of him. I don't I and I may have heard a song or two but nothing that stuck with me for sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know any of his music, but he's really known for like wearing these red beads in his hair. And
Okay.
that's how I recognized him because I described him to somebody. Oh, that's Lil Yachty because like only one guy does that. And he must have been like fucking 19 at the time. And he was like, must have been, I was in Los Angeles. He must have been recording an album that I delivered him pizza.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. You could say that now. That's bragging rights. I brought little Yachty a pizza.
Yeah, I delivered a bunch of celebrities pizza with that job.
Wow.
I got to
Damn.
meet Jack Black and
Oh,
a couple of the guys from It's Always Sunny.
oh, you know what? I've never watched that. People tell me I should.
Oh, I think it's probably your sense of humor.
That's what everybody says. They're like, dude, you go see It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you're probably the fourth person that's told me that now. So maybe I should.
There's like 9 seasons, so it'll keep you busy.
Man, that's a lot. Yeah, a lot of watching to do. But well, maybe just to catch a an episode or two, and let's see if I get hooked.
Yeah, for sure. I think the episodes are only like 20, 30 minutes, 20 minutes long.
Oh,
So if you hate it, it's only 20 minutes of your life that you wasted.
that's true. That's true. So if I really don't like it, but who knows? Maybe I'll get wrapped up in it and just be like, oh shit, this is kind of dope. I like this.
Yes, and then you'll be addicted. And
Damn.
pretty much what happened to me is I binge watched all 9 seasons, like pretty much all I did for 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
It might not have even taken that long. Yeah.
Damn. That's yeah, I don't know. It and because it makes me think, I guess part of it makes me think of that like Jersey Shore shit too, that I'm kind of like that, you know, anything that's popular kind of makes me shy away from it a little bit.
Oh, I feel you on that. Yeah, it's nothing like Jersey Shore. It's extremely witty, um, pretty offensive comedy. It's
Huh.
um, it's a show about dumb people for smart people is the best way I can put it.
Oh, so it's kind of like Idiocracy, the movie,
Um,
like where they poke fun at really stupid shit.
yeah, like it kind of has the same vibe. I can see that. It's like a sitcom.
Okay, yeah, but
Uh,
more of a sitcom, obviously, in this case.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Huh. Well,
And
I
it's
may.
just you get to know the characters and how stupid they are and the terrible decisions they make. It's like Seinfeld, but like way dumber, but
Okay.
smarter. I don't know.
I was
It's
gonna
so
I was
hard
gonna
to
say I
describe.
I used to hate Seinfeld. I had a roommate that loved Seinfeld. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, no. He's the most unfunny comedian ever, in my opinion.
Well,
He's the
that show
most
is so dry too,
yeah, he's the most what's the word? Vanilla comedian that I think that I'm like, dude, how does anybody find this motherfucker funny?
especially the stand-up that he does on his show. And then
Oh yeah.
it'll show him doing a little clip of his stand-up, and you're just like, Was that supposed to be a joke?"
Like, yeah, you're not funny, man. That was not funny. That sucked.
I'd like to say he's a little bit funnier his stand-up in real life, hopefully.
I thought I caught a clip of his stand up one time, and I don't think I was too impressed either. Like I said, he's kind of vanilla for me.
It's
So,
Kramer's the one that makes the show for me.
right. Because well, they hate each other. What was it? Was it Kramer and Newman? I forget the two guys that hate each other.
Yes, yeah. The post office guy.
Yeah, my old roommate Mike, when I was in college, one of my roommates, he loved the fuck out of Seinfeld. I was like, oh God, okay, man, you go do your Seinfeld thing. I'm gonna put my headphones on.
I'm like I like Seinfeld, but I'm like a 2 episode limit per year person because it's all kind of the same shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Once you've seen one episode, you've kind of seen them all.
And see, I remember sitcoms being funny, like the really like stuff you couldn't get away with now. I don't know if you've ever seen. Now this is taking it back. Sanford and Son.
Oh, that's a little bit before my time, but I've seen a little bit of it.
I'll tell you what. When it came out, I was little, so obviously I couldn't understand the humor. But I
Yeah.
watched it again when I was older, like in my 20s, and I was like, "This is some funny shit." So that and what was it? All in the Family. So it's stuff you could not get away with doing now on TV, but it's so I think that's the good shit.
Is All in the Family the one where he was like always threatening to beat his wife, or he was like yelling, not being very nice to her?
Yeah, he called her dingbat all the time. Hey, dingbat, or
Oh, that's so mean.
oh yeah, well then he was pretty racist too, which was funny. That like there was one episode where he there was a refrigerator repair guy, and the way he tells the story, the refrigerator repair guy, it was a black guy, by the way. So his side of the story is the refrigerator repair guy is a real, was a real prick to him. It was real mean. And yet his son-in-law tells the story. He's like, no, 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 this is what really happened. And meanwhile, it's the other side where Archie's being the asshole, the refrigerator repair guy. So
Mm.
it's just interesting how you see the two perspectives. Yeah, he some pretty inappropriate humor, but I think that's what I like about it. Yeah, humor, just stuff that can offend people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I personally draw the line at racist humor, but I do like offensive humor.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people like coming under fire for just being a comedian, like
Well, that's it.
um it's tough to be a comedian these days from what I'm watching.
Oh yeah, yeah, because everybody's so offended by everything. That's the problem.
Yeah, and people are getting canceled from like tweets that they made from 10 years ago, and I don't
Which is
agree with that.
bullshit. Yeah, it's like, man, come on, dude. But no, it's not. I don't know. I don't want to say uh not totally racist. He's a just an old codger type guy. You know what I mean? You'd have to see it just to see,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, like, there's like racist, like people who like have like hate in their heart for people who are different from them. And then
Right.
there's Archie Bunker racist, and
That that's
it's
it.
not the same, but
That's it. That's it. And well, even Sanford and Son. I mean, he was like the one where he's his son's friend is Puerto Rican, and he's like, see, that's the reason to hate Julio because he's Puerto Rican, or whatever, and just the way he says it, or they one time his son took him to a Chinese restaurant,
oh God.
so and he's a black dude. So
Yes.
it was kind of, and here's the thing too with that is it's not making this isn't actually making fun of the other races, it's making fun of the racist idiot that thinks that way,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, that's a good point.
and that's the thing. It's not like, oh, let's talk shit about another race, because like I said, Sanford and Son, he got on everybody. He got on Puerto Ricans, he got on Asians, he got on white people. So it was all no holds barred there. So yeah, it's making fun of the person who has that mentality.
Yeah, there is an argument though that if there's someone on TV that you relate to, then you'll start kind of acting like them. I've heard
uh,
that argument.
I don't know if I relate to the guy. I just think it's funny to hear him say the ignorant shit that he says, you know?
Yeah, he's the protagonist though. I don't know, there's like this documentary that came out that said that the media has shaped people's opinions like throughout the years, like so much so that it's like really like the media alone has affected our opinions on different minority groups.
And that's true. Yeah, there's
And so
certain,
there's almost like a responsibility for the media to portray things in like a certain light so that it doesn't affect the um overwhelming, like majority of people. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
well, I guess, it like I'll see, even, well, like in cartoons, that there's always the like the black guy is always kind of, okay, well, whatever just, well, like the Fat Albert character.
Mm.
I don't know if you ever, that's probably before your time too.
I've seen some of that.
Yeah. So it's some of that's, you know, I don't feel that's a very healthy portrayal of black culture, but whatever. I guess it was funny. It was a cartoon. It was the time.
Yeah, I feel like basically like the last thing that I'll say about it is I'm glad that we're coming to a point in movies, for example, where just no one comments about it. Like there's just no race is never brought up and everyone is equal. And so I think hopefully that will affect like the general conscience where people just kids will just
Yeah.
see that and not and race won't even be a conversation one of these days. That would be cool.
You hope not, but it's almost like now they're making more of it. Like it's got, what was the thing, the Black Little Mermaid or whatever it was. Remember?
Yeah, and it's like mostly older people who are up in arms about it. Boomers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, what's the point? Like, I don't know. Do we really have to, why don't we just let it be what it is? Why does it have to be a black or a white or a this, that, that's the thing. Like you said, why does race have to be part of the equation, period?
Yeah, I love how political we're getting on this show. Like you're seeing smoking lace talk politics. But
This is great.
yeah, I've heard from Black people posting on social media who say that they're finally seeing themselves represented, like in Disney.
Right.
Um, and like that movie Crazy Rich Asians, that was like the first movie about Asian people that like it was like the first like major motion picture that like was up for awards and shit that was
Right.
just about Asians, and people walked out of the theater crying because they were like, wow, a movie that I could wholeheartedly relate to. And so I think it's an attempt to like give everyone the same feeling that I watched when I was little and saw The Little Mermaid, and saw myself in Ariel or whatever.
Right, right. Well, I guess I mean I don't know. I think it's like if you bring it up, it obviously kind of it puts it in your face, like, oh yeah, this is like it shouldn't even be about that. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm trying.
Yeah, I would love to see, like Black Panther, for example.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because that movie, it was a comic book that was always about Black people.
right, right,
It's not, they didn't have to like swap some shit up. Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's like we just need to have more characters that are more diverse characters, period, that were
right,
always written that way.
right. It shouldn't be emphasized as this is a black movie because there we go again. We're sticking labels on people already.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. That's a
you
great
know,
point.
so that's the whole thing is they love to put you in your box. That's you gotta be with your people, and it's like now fuck all that, man. That's why does it have to be like oh God, what was the other movie? Or Get Out. Remember Get Out? That was actually a great movie.
Yeah, I love his work.
Yeah, that was.
Um, because he started making that one comedy show.
Oh, which one was that?
Um, Trying to remember their names, but it's just like two guys' names, and they were making like I don't know. It was like skits. He started off doing skit
Oh, you
shows.
mean Oh no, I'm thinking of In Living Color.
It
Which
was well after that.
yeah, I know. I was gonna say that's way after. That's
But I do remember that show. That was fucking great. I think that's how Jim Carrey got his start, right?
oh yeah, a lot of people got their start from there. Jim Carrey,
The
the
Waynes
Waynes. Well, that was their
brothers.
show. That was their concept.
Oh, that's right. But they also like starred in it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They played parts too, or had
Okay.
bits. So yeah, the Waynes brothers, and there was someone else that got a start from there too, but I can't remember who it was.
David Allen Greer, maybe?
Oh, it might be. Yeah, yeah. I think it may have been him. Actually, I think I can't.
Because he played Homie. Homie,
Oh,
go play that.
he was the homie the clown guy. I thought that
I
was one of
think
the Wayne's
so.
brothers.
Let me look it up.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna ask the internet.
Go ask Alexa or whatever, or Google or whoever. But yeah, I used to love it every Sunday night in Living Color. That was the shit.
Let's see. You're right. It was Damon Wayans.
That's what I thought because that voice, he's got a pretty distinct voice. So
Yeah,
that's what I figured it was him. But yeah, no, I mean, I just don't think that we should point it out as much. It's just like just let shit be. Why we got to put labels on? Why is this got to be a black movie or a white movie or whatever? Just movie should just be a movie. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
totally. Yeah. It's almost furthering the notion of segregation.
Yeah.
But I do like what Disney did with Star Wars, where they made, episodes. I'm kind of a Star Wars nerd. They made seven, eight, and nine,
Uh-huh.
and they made them with tons of women and tons of, you know, not white people, tons of people of color. Because you think they were, they're trying to undo their history of like not being inclusive at all. Like you think episode the first Star Wars that came out, the only woman in it is Leia.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Well, they
And she needs rescued, It's not
right. Of
exactly a
course, it's like she's
feminist
not
movie.
right. She's not powerful or whatever. She's like, oh, the poor princess. We need to save her.
Yeah, and it turns out she is a senator and she knows how to use a blaster, but still it's kind of like, we know her as a princess who needs saved. And um but yeah, and they was all white people. Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember a single person of color in the first Star Wars movie. And then we got Lando later.
Well, funny enough, James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, and he's a black guy.
That's very true.
you, you know, so we didn't necessarily see him. I guess his face or whatever. I don't know what you guys saw, but I just know he was the voice behind him.
It was a white guy who played the who actually was under the suit, but we don't get to see his face until episode 6 when his mask falls off because he's dying and it's a
Oh,
white
that's right.
guy.
That's right. That's interesting. Darth Vader.
But
Oh,
it would make a lot of sense if if Darth Vader was a black guy because he's James Earl Jones, other than
Yeah,
the fact that he's Luke's father.
right. Even though,
Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't
yeah,
seen
well,
Star
I mean,
Wars. I just gave away the biggest plot point.
if you're under the rock, I guess. I mean, anyone who doesn't know that that's a big line. I'm your father, Luke.
Unless you've been living in a cave for the last 50 years.
Damn, I didn't realize that Darth Vader was Luke's dad. What? Hell no. That's like a Darius Rucker moment. Where
Oh, what? What?
I didn't realize that Darius Rucker was Hootie from
Oh,
Hootie and the
yeah.
Blowfish.
Yep.
I wasn't until I was reading. I don't know what it was. I liked his music and I was reading up on him, and it was like formerly known as Hootie from Hootie and the Blow. I'm like, what? I did not know that.
I think he got famous with the song Wagon Wheel, which,
Uh,
funny enough, was written by Old Crow Medicine Show, who is
oh,
this folk punk band. I don't know. They're kind of folk. They live in Nashville now, and they play at the Ryman and the Opry, but they started out on a street corner anyway. So
damn,
they adopted that song from Bob Dylan, who wrote a couple lines of it, and he stole it from like an old slave hymn. So it's kind of coming
nice.
full circle with Darius Rucker, right? Like,
I guess so. Wow,
interesting history of that song. But yeah, it's a cover.
I didn't know that. I
It's
just
a
was
cover of a cover of a cover.
cover of a cover. Well, a lot of songs are covers too. Like I didn't realize Sheryl Crow's first cut is the deepest. I thought that was her song, but apparently
Oh,
not.
who wrote it?
You know what? I cannot remember. That's a Google question.
Right?
Let's see. Hold on. Will it allow me?
We're asking the wizard a lot tonight.
Yeah, I know, right? I hope I didn't cut you off.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. Is it Rod Stewart? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it says on the internet.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry. It takes me a little longer to get to Google.
That's all good. Yeah, I'm like a millennial, so I practically
Yeah, Google is like like picking up a pencil for
I
you
was
guys.
like came out of the womb using the internet.
See, there you go, you youngsters. We used to have computer was like a treat for us. Like, oh man, we get to play Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah. Um, honestly, I had my first, I mean, I'm 38 years old, so and yes, I am now admitting my real age. I'm 38, everybody.
Okay. I was gonna say something to you afterwards, like, hey,
That
did you?
wasn't a slip.
Okay, so you meant to do that then.
Yeah, you encouraged me to embrace my MILFness. But anyway,
All right. Well, I think that's hot personally. I think it's dope, especially doing what you do at that age. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. So I'm 38 and I got my first computer when I was 5. That would have
Oh, damn.
been what, 1991? And it was
91.
like an old Tandy.
Oh, Tandy, the Radio Shack computer.
Yes. Oh my God, you
Damn.
remember that.
Hell yeah. I was around.
I
Tandy.
wonder how much
Wow.
my dad paid for that thing. But yeah, it actually like to my knowledge was one of the first computers that had the 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Yes.
And didn't use the huge ones that are like a vinyl record shape but square.
Well, actually, no, because we had an Apple IIe, and it had a disk drive, and the disks were about the size of I don't know, sheet of paper, maybe
Yeah.
like a small sheet of paper, and you just slid them in. And I know there was a piece of hardware you bought, and it was called Echo, I believe, and you installed it, within the underneath the, into the circuit board of the computer,
Mhm.
and then you put the disk in, and it was called Word Talk, and it was like a word processing program, pretty much. So that's how I was able to use, but that didn't mean that the computer was 100% accessible. It was just that program for me.
Oh, right.
So most of them, and then there was another one too, I think called Calc Talk, which was like a math program where you could do math problems like a calculator.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's not like having JAWS on your computer now, where everything that's on your computer, it will tell you.
Yeah, I'm glad that they have technology like that that is like that works really well. It
Oh,
must be weird though, like when I send you text messages that comes out in my ro in like a robot voice, like a female sounding robot.
I,
Um, it
I
makes me
don't
want to
even.
record more voice messages for you so you can like really get the intonation.
Oh, right. Oh, you're talking about when you actually record stuff for me and you send them to me.
Yeah, I mean it's so much better than the robot
Oh,
voice,
right.
right?
Then the Jaws voice. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the Jaws voice.
And you've probably heard it in the background on your rejection videos.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think I have because it reads out the file names and stuff.
Right. It'll say the file name or it'll say replay at the end of the video. You hear it in the
Yeah.
background say replay. you know. So so um either way, I mean,
Well,
I
because
love
there's certain things I'll say that is like supposed to be really sexy, and I imagine it's just like, oh yeah, do you want me to put my sweaty feet on you or something?
I don't
Like,
know.
oh, it's so hot.
I'm kind of thinking just knowing how your voice sounds. So I'm just thinking of your voice saying it.
Okay, cool.
So that's the way I read it, at least.
You
I'm
can
just like,
suspend your disbelief.
right, exactly. I'm just like, well, that's I could see Lace saying that. And I could hear that coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, we're at the 3 hour mark.
Holy shit. Isn't this crazy? Oh man, I think we're gonna wrap it up though. I'm getting wicked dry mouth and my water ran out a while ago.
Oh man, you might have to make me a custom.
Make you a custom. Ooh. Do you have and we'll talk about this more when Smoking Bexy comes on, but she called it a service kink where
Yeah, I buy that.
I guess I'm turned on by serving the woman by bringing her a glass of water when she's thirsty.
Hmm.
So, okay, so this is what you're going to have to do with me. We're going to end this off. And then at the end, we say, that's the story there, bitches.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah, I gotta be Cruz. Okay.
you got to do it. Well, this is every time you do the show with me, you're going to have to do that now because that's your family. You know what I mean?
Cool. Okay.
So you got to fam it up with me now.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
So yes, this has been the Nothing Sacred Smoke Break, the longest fucking smoke break we've ever done. I am Maxwell Silverhammer,
I'm smoking lace.
and
And that's the
the
story
story there,
there,
bitches.
bitches.
There you go.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.